Steelers come onto the field now, breaking his position. Mike Collier is going deep. Mel Blount is going deep. Here come the Cincinnati Bengals. They'll stir it up there on the 35-yard line. It'll be Dave Green kicking off. Dave Brown has dropped back now. The three deep men will be Collier in the middle, Brown to his left, and Mel Blount to the right. Ben Grice is the referee. Art Demis is the umpire. Frank Glover is the head linesman. Jerry Siemens the line judge. Stan Jaffee is the back judge. And Bill O'Brien is the field judge. All those officials are signed here, of course, by the National Football League. The ball is on the kicking tee. Collier is center deep, and he gets the ball most of the time on run back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the defending world champions. They're waiting for Ben Grice whistle. There it is. Here comes Green. Ball is in the air. Over to Mel Blount's side of the field. Blount at the 14-yard line. Goes right to the 20-25, and Mel Blount goes out of bounds just across the 30. It'll be first and 10 at the 32. Bruce Cosmic bounced him out.
Lindsey, fair field position, and you hear us guys talking about field position all the time. Perhaps the point made about it is the closer you start to the opposing goal line, the less chance you have of making a mistake in a drive, and that's why we talk about field position all the time.
Terry Bradshaw is the quarterback. Franco Harris and Rocky Flower are the running backs. Frank Lewis is wide receiver. So is Lynn Swann, and Larry Brown is the tight end. The Steelers up there in an I formation. Wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw keeps it on the ground to Franco. Oh, I beg your pardon. Hand off on the first play. Up to the tailback, Rocky Flower. Bob Brown, Al Beauchamp coming in to make the tackle. Moved it out there to the 35-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play, so it'll be second down and 7 yards to go. Here comes big Reggie Harrison onto the field now in place of Franco Harris. Harris goes off. Reggie Harrison now is the fullback. Swann coming wide to the right side. They split the running back this time. Bradshaw calling starting signals. Gives it off to Harris. He spins away from the tackler, going wide to the left side. Across the 40, 42. He was hit and hit hard. Well back in the line, but spun away. LeClaire and Bernard Jackson. Able to bring it down. It's very close to the first down stick.
We hear time and again about Franco Harris, but the big man, as far as blocking as that flyer in the backfield, he didn't have too good of a game last week as far as rushing was concerned, but afterwards, it was everybody's unanimous opinion that he was the guy that opened all the holes for Mr. Harris to get all the yardage. He went over the 1,000-yard mark.
They're going to make it now for the possible first down. Might have been picked up by Harrison. The chain is extended. And it's first and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 43-yard line. Terry Bradshaw has thrown 253 passes this year, completed 149, 58.9%, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Terry Bradshaw is the leading passer in the American Football Conference. Wide receivers left and right now. First and 10 at the 43. Lindsey Nelson is in that backfield now. It's Rocky Flower trying to sweep right. Rocky Flower looking for a place to cut back. However, he was closed off the pass after he picked up 1 yard to the 44. It's going to be second down and 9 to go. Al Beauchamp and Ron Pritchett, the outside linebackers, converging to make the tackle.
Those linebackers getting out there in a hurry to close down the play before it really had time to develop. Not enough blockers out in front to really open it up.
Front four for Cincinnati, Ken Johnson, Bob Brown, Ron Carpenter, and Sherman White. Jim LeClaire is the middle linebackers. Al Beauchamp and Ron Pritchett are outside. They're in an I formation now. The Steelers are. Dropping straight back at Bradshaw. Swings it out to Quincy Fuqua at the 45, and he's upended right there. Quincy Fuqua was upended just as he got the ball by Ken Riley coming off the right corner. So it'll be third down now. And 8 to go. The ball is on the 45-yard line.
Defensive end Dwight White returned to practice Thursday of this week. He's been having problems with sinus conditions. You know, tough football players have troubles like that. Chuck Noll didn't make up his mind until this morning about Joe Green in that Pittsburgh lineup.
Cincinnati Bengals going to their break. The nickel defense now, which brings Bob Brown off the field. It's third down and 8. They think it's sure pass. Wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw waiting now for the snap. He's got it. He's dropping straight back to take a look. Sets up now and guns it. It is taken by Swann. He's hit it with his feet. It's at the 41-yard line. First and 10. He waited for Swann to clear. Tom Casanova made the tackle.
14-yard pickup by Lynn Swann, who has just been sensational for the Steelers this year. Number 1 draft choice.
This stadium now is becoming a bedlam as the Pittsburgh Steelers have moved steadily downfield. That was the first big play of the ball game, a 14-yarder. Bradshaw dropped back and very calmly, very coolly waited for Swann to clear. He's dropping back again now. Takes a look and he's going long to Swann. Going to Swann in the corner. And it's incomplete. Swann was going to try to leap and take it out of the hands of Marvin Cobb, who was coming back with him step for step. It was in the end zone. They both went up. Nobody could control the ball. Second and 10 at the 41-yard line.
Marvin Cobb has been doing quite a job for these Bengals. He's been getting into the lineup more and more. They have a good defensive secondary, but he's almost worked his way into it. Picked off a couple of passes last week.
Keep in mind that Cincinnati has never won a game here at Three River Stadium. They have been here 5 times and they have never won. Second down and 10 coming up now as Swann comes back to the Hubby in a long trip. Ball is at the Cincinnati 41. Second and 10 for the Pitt Steelers. Stallworth going to the left side. Here comes Swann to the right side. Split the running back this time. Now move the tight end, Larry Blount, over right. They expect Bradshaw to go to the air again, and so do we. Instead, it's a pitch. Taken by Franco Harris to the right side, and the ball was out of his hands, but he was in control as he got to about the 37. Jim LeClaire, the man making the tackle, and they shook Franco Harris loose to the ball. It was a pitch right. It's just inside the 38-yard line. That's going to be third down, about 7 yards to go.
The big difference with Bradshaw this year, Lindsey, is the fact that he's been calling good ball games. He frequently doesn't even call the play in the huddle. He simply says, check at the line. So he's reading those defenses well.
Cincinnati's in their version of the nickel once again as Bob Brown has come off the field. Third and 7. Pittsburgh at the Cincinnati 38-yard line. Wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw dropping back to take a look. He sets up now. And he got it again to Swann. Right at the 25. Tom Casanova was there. Exactly the same pattern on which they picked up 14 yards a moment ago. This time they got 12.
12 yards on that one. You know, Lynn Swann was bypassed by some 20 teams before the Steelers took it.
Lynn Swann led his college football history to Southern California. Now, Steelers have driven steadily downfield. The ball is at the 25-yard line. Bradshaw is 3 for 4, 28 yards in the air. Ray Mansfield, the veteran center, comes over the ball first and 10 at the Cincinnati 25-yard line. Wide receivers, left and right, running back split. Franco Harris cutting off tackle right. Franco cuts back to the 20. Inside of the 50, out of the 10. Finally brought down at the 8-yard line. Marvin Cobb brought him down. Franco Harris running the broken field.
Franco Harris running like the great back he is. Picks his way all the way down to the 3-yard line, an 18-yard pickup.
It is first and goal at the 8-yard line now. First and goal at the 8. Pittsburgh Steelers back in their huddle. They took the opening kickoff and they have driven steadily downfield. They returned that opening kickoff to the 32-yard line, so they've driven from the 32 down to the Cincinnati 8 on this, the first possession. Stallworth to the left side now. Lynn Swann to the right side. Franco Harris and Rocky Flyer, the split running back, for Bradshaw, the quarterback. Now they start Swann in motion back to the inside. Franco Harris trying to sweep right. Gets to the 5, and he's brought down at the 4-yard line. Jim LeClaire, the middle linebacker, brought him down. Second down and goal to go, and the ball is at the 4-yard line.
Very methodically, the Steelers have taken over on this first drive of the game, moved down the field, mixing up the running play and the pass, and Terry Bradshaw very much in command.
Second down, goal to go for the defending world champion, Pittsburgh Steelers. They have the ball on the 4-yard line of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now Terry Bradshaw, the young man from Louisiana Tech, breaks the huddle. Jim Stallworth left. Then Swann right. Running back to split. Franco Harris to the right side. Rocky Flyer to the left side. Bradshaw gives it off to Franco Harris. That sweep left, cuts back. Can't find any way to go, and he is pulled down after a gain of maybe 6 inches. Ken Johnson came and makes the tackle. It'll be third down and goal to go now. Ball is outside the 3-yard line. Third and goal. This becomes a big play because if Cincinnati holds, it's likely that the Steelers go for the field goal here early on the first quarter. But the crowd is aware that this is the big play. Third down and goal to go just outside the 3. Stallworth to the left side. Lynn Swann to the right side. Franco Harris left. Rocky Flyer right. Running back to the split. Bradshaw looks back now. Takes a look to be sure that everyone's set. He's waiting for the snap. Head down. Bradshaw driving back. He's going to put it into the air. He waits. He can't find anyone. Now he got it. And it is taken just about at the goal line. Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown is indicated. He was pushed back. But ball is talking. So Lynn Swann makes it a touchdown. The officials are waiting. Lynn Swann took it as it was done in actually the same pattern on which they had run 2 earlier big gainers. And so the third down pass to Swann to stay alive each time. They move 68 yards in 12 plays. Conversion attempt coming. Walden will hold for Roy Girella. There's a 3-yard pass on the play. Bradshaw to Lynn Swann for the touchdown. Walden down out stretch. He puts it down. Girella boots it up. And it's good. It is good. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken an early lead. So with the score, Pittsburgh 7, Cincinnati nothing. They climb out on the field and now.
Well, quarterback Kenny Anderson, who is about to see some action now, missed the Houston game a couple of weeks ago because of a chest injury. He returned to work for the Bengals last Sunday and completed 20 of 35 passes for 235 yards and 1 touchdown. His season totals now 2,717 yards and 17 TDs. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the big news, Franco Harris going over 1,000 yards last week for the third time in 4 years. He had 1,002 going into this game. He had 103 yards last week and a pair of touchdowns. That was his 4th 100-yarder of the year and the 17th of his career. Harris became the 7th man to gain 1,000 yards in 3 or more seasons. The Steelers had 3 sacks last week, one by defensive tackle Steve Fournette, playing for an injured Joe Green. Rocky Bleier returned to action last week after missing 3 games, and he rushed for 24 yards.
Back at Riverfront Stadium, 12:45 remaining in the first period of play. The opening kickoff taken by the Steelers. Moves methodically down the field. A 3-yard pass to Lynn Swann. He caught the ball in the air. He was in the end zone. He was pushed out as he was grabbing the ball. The officials waited to see if he hung on. He did. Here's Lindsey.
Roy Girella will kick off now the deep man of Bernard Jackson and Linville Elliott for Cincinnati. Girella coming forward. The ball is in the air. It's over to Elliott's side of the field. Elliott, 1 yard deep in the end zone. Goal line 5. Gets this right to the 10, to the 15. And was stopped at the 17-yard line by Lawrence Hughes. Lawrence Hughes brought him down. So start now. Cincinnati Bengals will first and 10, and they'll start at just about their own 17-yard line.
The Bengals get a chance to see what they can do. And as we mentioned, no team has scored on these Steelers in the first quarter of action all year long. That includes the first time Cincinnati played the Steelers.
Ken Anderson, the quarterback, brings the Cincinnati Bengals up. Now he splits out his running back. Essex Johnson and Boobie Clark. Wide receiver to the right side. Anderson now with a quick pitch. And it's taken by Essex Johnson. Off tackle left. Gets across the 20 to the 21-yard line for a gain of 3. Andy Russell, the veteran outside linebacker, along with Merrill Black, came up to make the tackle. The drive by the Pittsburgh Steelers carried 68 yards in 12 plays. They picked up 37 yards rushing and 31 yards passing in that drive. Give you some idea just how well Steelers and Mr. Bradshaw are mixing their play. 2nd and 7 now for the Cincinnati Bengals with Paul Brown. They're at their own 21-yard line. Anderson now rolling right, looks for a receiver and overthrows Isaac Curtis on the far side. He was hoping that Isaac Curtis could clear and streak down the sideline, but he's been held up on a chuck over there, so it's going to be 3rd and 7 at the 21-yard line.
Steelers think the key to stopping this Cincinnati team is to stop Isaac Curtis. He's a genuine 9-3 sprinter. He can fly. He's got good hands, and that's the man they concentrate on in that defensive secondary.
Messenger guards are used by Paul Brown. Of course, Howard Best and John Shinners will be moving in and out all day long. At one time, many years ago, the messenger guard, one of them was Chuck Noll, who now is the head coach of these Pittsburgh Steelers. 3rd down play coming down. Motion by Curtis back to the inside. Anderson dropping back. Swings it out. Incomplete. So it's going to be now 4th down, and the punting unit comes on. Dwight White was putting a lot of pressure on. Essex Johnson was the man who had swung out into the right flat. And so now the punting unit comes on. Dave Green is in to do the punting. He has averaged 39.1. He is a 3-year veteran from Ohio University.
And it was simply a matter of nobody open. Johnson was his secondary receiver, and even he was covered.
Bryn Edwards and Dave Brown have dropped back for the Steelers now, standing along their own 35. Bryn Edwards and Dave Brown. Dave Green in deep punt formation waiting for the snap. He's got it. Off the side of his foot. It's on the 40, his 40, but bounds across the 50, down to the Pittsburgh 45. to the 42, and it's going to be down at the 42-yard line. The Steelers will start their first and 10, 37-yard punt.
Green has been somewhat erratic. He's got a good foot. He can hit it a long way, but he also has that sort of thing happen to him. Only a great roll saved it being a poor punt. But once again, we'll talk about field position. They take over on their front 41-yard line. There's a timeout with the score. Pittsburgh 7, Cincinnati nothing. We have the pleasure of having two of the NFL's top three passers in this game. Of course, Terry Bradshaw, who engineered that first touchdown for the Steelers, ranks ahead of the Bengals' Ken Anderson by just 1.4 points in the NFL passer rating system. Baltimore is Burt Jones, number 2. Both Bradshaw and Anderson have thrown 17 touchdown passes going into today. Bradshaw leads the rating system by virtue of having been intercepted fewer times, 7, than Kenny Anderson. Chuck Noll and his Steeler defense are having to deal with one of the most explosive receivers in the football game today, Pro Football Isaac Curtis, as we mentioned. 9.3 speed, 21 yards a catch, and he is having that kind of a season. That's the man they feel like they've got to stop if they're going to stop Cincinnati. Bengals will have, for the first possession, they've given up. The Steelers drove for the touchdown. Now the Steelers have it again. Again, here's Lindsey Nelson from Three River Stadium.
All right, they'll conquest it first and 10. For the Steelers, the ball is outside their own 41-yard line. Terry Bradshaw brings it up. They split the running backs, and dropping back is Bradshaw. Guns it, and complete to the big tight end. It's taken by Larry Blount, and it's at the 38-yard line of Cincinnati. Marvin Cobb made the tackle. A fly pattern had been run down there by Lynn Swann to clear out a portion of that area. A 21-yard pickup.
Kind of the forgotten man in the receiver corps for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's the blocker. He's a big guy out of Kansas State, but he can catch the ball, as he proved right there, Lindsey.
Just Stallworth to the left side. Lynn Swann to the right side. Bradshaw deliberately brings them up now. Rocky Flyer is left. Franco Harris is right as the setback. They start Swann in motion back to the inside. Give it to Franco Harris. This time, nothing. Hopped at the line of scrimmage. Second and 38. Big Bob Brown was in there. Harris, incidentally, started today, needing only 53 yards to tie his career high of 1,055 yards. And if he can get 140 yards in these last two games, he will break John Henry Johnson's club record with the Steelers of 1,141. So far, Harris has carried 5 times for 25 yards. He needs 28 to tie his all-time career record. He came in today having gained 1,002 yards. Here's a second down play. Bradshaw back. Sets up near the 50-yard line. Takes a long, scrambles out to the right now. Can't find anybody. Still scrambling and spins away from a tackler. And now he's going to be pulled down way back in his own territory by Sherman White. Sherman White, 6'5", 250-pounder from University of California, actually just slung him back to the 41-yard line.
Sherman White has been saying all week that this game is of super importance to the Bengals, more for the psychological thing. They've got to beat these Steelers if they're ever going to get to the Super Bowl, and they haven't been able to do that, as we mentioned. And we might point out also, Lindsey, that probably that's the difference in Terry Bradshaw we saw right there than a year ago. If he has receivers covered, he just doesn't throw in a crowd anymore. He'll eat it or try and run it, which he's effective doing.
There was a loss on that play of 21 yards, making it 3rd and 41 now. 3rd and 31 at the 41. Wide receivers left and right. Swann to the right side. Stallworth to the left side. Everybody in the park expects Bradshaw to put it up this time. He tightens Franco Harris up a little over to the left. Rocky Bauer evens up with him. Bradshaw now, they try the draw play instead. 45-50, and across the 50 and on down to the 46-yard line. So instead of putting it in the air, Bradshaw called the draw. Tom Casanova made the tackle. It is not enough for the first down. 13-yard pickup. The punting unit comes on, led by Bobby Walden, who has averaged 39.7 on his kick this year.
He almost pulled it off. Left guard Jim Clark, Ray Mansfield to center, and Gary Mullins really opened up the hole, but not enough.
Walden in deep punt formation. Tommy Casanova is back to receive the punt. Steelers are leading 7-0. We're in the first quarter. Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Still waiting for the snap. Now Walden gets it. Gets it off, sort of end over end. Casanova lets it go into the end zone. A 46-yard punt, touchback. It'll be put in play first and 10 at the 20.
So the second time today, the Bengals will have a chance to move the ball offensively, and it's something they've got to do. Kenny Anderson had a fabulous day against Pittsburgh. The first time these two teams met down in Cincinnati, but it wasn't enough. With the score, Steelers 7, Bengals nothing. There's a timeout on the field.
Taking a look at some of the American Football Conference statistical leaders, O.J. Simpson of Buffalo has figured still a leading rusher by a large margin. O.J. has gained 1,575 yards, and the closest man to him is Lydell Mitchell of Baltimore with 1,008. Then comes Franco Harris of these Pittsburgh Steelers with 1,002 going into action today. The best for the Cincinnati Bengals way down the list is Boobie Clark. He's gained 523 yards. Taking a look at the leading punters, Ray Guy of Oakland is tops with a 44.5 yards per punt average. Then comes Gerald Wilson of Kansas City at 41.4. Bobby Walden of Pittsburgh averaging 39.7. And Dave Green of Cincinnati 39.1. Leading punt returner is Billy White Hughes Johnson of Houston averaging 17 yards. Neil Colsey of Oakland averaging 13.7. Earl Edwards of Pittsburgh, is averaging 11.1. Dave Brown of the Steelers averaging 9.3. Blackwood of Cincinnati 6.2. Lamar Parrish of the Bengals 6 even.
The Bengals have the ball first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Anderson there. They start motion back to the inside by Curtis and hand it off. Tackle right. Taken by Boobie Clark to the 22-yard line. He's the leading ground gainer this year for the Cincinnati Bengals. Ernie Holmes and Joe Green. Cincinnati picked up just 3 yards in its first series.
As you mentioned, Lindsey, early, it would seem that it's going to be important for the Bengals to do something with the ball offensively early. This Steeler team has a way of getting you down and keeping you down.
The Bengals have got where they got primarily with the forward pass. Wide receivers left and right. The running backs are split. Motion to the outside. Essex Johnson. Anderson throws it, and it is taken right out of the hands of a defender by Chip Myers. Chip Myers took it right out of the hands of J.T. Thomas. It is a completed pass at the 39-yard line. A pickup of 16 yards. Thomas thought he had the ball. I mean, he was all over him. But Kenny Anderson, one of the best passers in all of pro football, put that ball right on the nose. And it was the receiver that came away, not the defender. Coming into this game, Anderson has completed 191 passes and 322 attempts, 59.3%. Wide receiver to the right side, tightened up on the left side. And here is a handoff right up the middle. This one goes, taken by Boobie Clark. Boobie Clark came into this game having picked up 523 yards. Andy Russell on the tackle.
You know, Lindsey, the running game of the Bengals is somewhat of a mystery to everybody around the AFC. They seem to have the running back. They seem to have the offensive line, but they really haven't put together a good, solid running game until last week against Philadelphia. I think they need it today.
Each of these teams came into this game off big victories last weekend. There goes Chip Myers to the right side. Isaac Curtis has come to the left side. Second down and 4 yards to go. Leave it on the ground and give it off to Essex Johnson. And Johnson moves it up just about the 49-yard line, trying to get to the first down stick. We pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, your network for news and sports.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SCN Canal Zone.
In Pittsburgh, Steelers lead the game 7-0, 2:32 left in this first half. Bengals on the drive. 3rd and 1 now. The ball is just in advance of the 48-yard line. Tight formation for the Bengals as they try to pick up this first down at midfield. And it off to Boobie Clark. He fumbles. It is picked up at the 42 and dropped by Mel Blount. Now picked up by Jack Lambert. Lambert downfield. He gives it off to J.T. Thomas. Touchdown. They handled the ball twice. Paul Blount had it first. Then Jack Lambert had it. He got it over to J.T. Thomas. Thomas took it in for the touchdown. And I stood here and watched it, so I know what Lindsey's telling you is true. Looked like a rugby team going down the field with back passes trying to go in. Absolutely unbelievable. A free ball. Cincinnati was trying with Boobie Clark to pick up the first down. The ball skidded out to the left. Walden's in the hole now. Girella will attempt the extra point. It's up. And it's good. So now with the score, Steelers 14 to Bengals nothing. In a moment, we'll have the Pittsburgh kickoff. And now this works.
Let's take a look at some other statistical leaders in the AFC as Pittsburgh at the moment in complete control of this game. The kickoff return leaders in the AFC, Billy LaFleur of Cleveland at 31.7. As far as the Steelers go, Collier, he's averaging 24.7, and Jackson of Cincinnati, 24 even. AFC's leading scorers via the touchdown route, and the leader overall is O.J. Simpson of Buffalo with 120 points. Lynn Swann of Pittsburgh going into this game had 60, now has 66. Franco Harris of the Steelers, 54. They have the kicking route. Roy Jarrella of Pittsburgh leads with 87. Steve Green of Cincinnati has 63. And as you heard, the leading passer is Terry Bradshaw of Pittsburgh at 92.8 for a rating. Kenny Anderson of Cincinnati third, behind Burt Jones of Baltimore at 91.4. Leading pass receiver is Lydell Mitchell of the Colts with 53. Lynn Swann of Pittsburgh at 43 going into action today. Isaac Curtis of the Bengals, 39. And Boobie Clark of the Bengals, 35. Interception leader is Mal Blount of the Steelers. He has 11. Jackson and Riley of Cincinnati have 5.
Jarrella kicking off, and he kicks a knuckleball way downfield over the head of Lindsey Nelson. It goes across the end line, and so it'll be brought out, put in play 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Still facing the awesome defense of the defending world champion, Pittsburgh Steelers. Ken Anderson brings them up. Essex Johnson and Boobie Clark are the running back. Wide receivers left and right. Ike out Anderson now. Takes the handoff. He's still got the ball. Bounce back throws right. And it is taken out in the right flat by Bob Trumpy. Trumpy's first reception of the ball game. He goes up the right sideline after breaking loose and gets across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Glenn Edwards finally brought him down. I almost think the Steeler defense thought that he stepped out of bounds, but the officials weren't saying it the same way. 32-yard pickup on that pass play, and everybody kind of just stood around and watched him run down the field and do nothing about it. Bob Trumpy with his 17th reception of this season. He's an 8-year veteran from the University of Utah. 1st and 10 now for the Bengals in Steeler territory. We have 1 minute, 20 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. A couple of receivers to the right side, running a slot right, running back from an I formation. Anderson takes a look right and left. Drops back to throw. Sets it up. Now there's a screen left. Screen left is taken. No avail as Andy Russell comes in to read it. Andy Russell came in to top Essex Johnson. Andy Russell out of the University of Missouri, the wise old head of the linebackers of the Steelers. Might have had somebody fooled, but not Andy. He was there waiting on it. Just now, 2nd down and 15 yards to go as the ball is moved back to the 47. Down to 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wide receivers left and right, a slot right, a lone setback, indicating they'll go to the air here. And Anderson drops back to throw. Steps up now and decides that he'll run it. Across the 45, 40, 35, 30. Anderson hits the deck at the 25-yard line. Kenny Anderson, a scamper right up the middle of the field. Once again, his receivers covered downfield. He looked up the middle and saw this big gaping hole and ran 29 yards right up to the middle, taking it all the way down to the 24-yard line. The year of the big bulls begins on Mutual, Monday, December the 22nd, when Southern Cal takes on Texas A&M in the Liberty Bowl. That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, Pittsburgh 14, Cincinnati nothing. Well, defensive end Dwight White returned to practice on Thursday of this week. Looking at the injuries, he's been having problems with sinus conditions. Chuck Noll didn't make up his mind about Joe Green until early this morning. Green missed the last 2 games with a pinched nerve in his neck. In fact, Mr. Green has had a tough year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He missed a game and a half earlier because of a groin injury. Green took part in practice this week for the first time in 6 weeks. We welcome that big guy back, the bulwark of their defensive unit. Terry Bradshaw had his problems in practice also this week. He went to Nashville earlier in the week to cut some recording. And the players kept getting him all week that he had a hoarse voice. He says he was tired, he was sweating, he was worried, but he's cut records, 6 of them I think it is, and they're going to release a couple of them later on this week. So recording star Terry Bradshaw quarterbacking the Steelers today. Just into the second quarter of play, and the Steelers leading the ball game by a score of 14-0. Pittsburgh has run some 15 plays in that first quarter to opposed to 11 for Cincinnati. First down, Steelers lead that also 6-3. Yards rushing, the Steelers have picked up 50. Cincinnati only 43. Yards passing, again 30 for Pittsburgh. The one statistic Cincinnati leads, 43 they picked up through the air. Total yards 80 for Pittsburgh, 86 for Cincinnati. Passes, Bradshaw 5 for 6 so far in the ball game. While Anderson has hit 3 of 5. 2 of the best passes around, as we mentioned. No interceptions. Fumbles, just 1, but it was a big one. The
Steelers scored their second touchdown on it. Kind of a dip-the-doodle play. No penalty so far, Lindsey.
Not at all. First and 10 now. Cincinnati has the ball at the Pittsburgh 24-yard line. Anderson brings him up running back to an I formation. Going to a high count here. They start Isaac Curtis in motion back to the left side. Here is a pitch now. Coming wide to the right side is Essex Johnson. He stacked up outside the 20 at the 21. J.T. Thomas on that left corner. Coming up to make the tackle. Gain of about 3 yards on the play, like second and 7. Dave Lapham from Syracuse was leading the play around to the right side.
Well, Johnson stumbled before he got there, and about the 25-yard line, he perhaps could have picked up a few more yards, but he stumbled coming around that right side, and by the time he regained his momentum, the hole had healed.
67-year-old Paul Blount facing along the sideline. Head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. Second and 7 running back to the line, and they are running a slot right. Isaac Curtis is the slot back. Chip Myers outside him on the right. Anderson waiting for the snap, and he's got it. Gives it off to his tailback, and again it's Essex Johnson. Johnson's got across the 20, backed up and thrown back at the 19. It'll be 3rd and 5.
The Steelers' ball game, you can talk all you want about Swann and Bradshaw and all those guys, but their ball game is defense.
Well, we've got other stats to pass along to you as this game goes on. One of them finds that the Pittsburgh Steelers are the stingiest team point-wise in the AFC, allowing only 138 points this year.
3rd and 5. Charlie Joyner's in that lineup now for the Cincinnati Bengals. Essex Johnson, the lone setback in this alignment. Dropping back is Anderson. And he was hit just as he unloaded the ball. He was hit just as he unloaded it. Dwight White was in there behind him. He was trying to get the ball to Essex Johnson, who was momentarily in the clear, but he couldn't get it because of the fact that he had just been hit.
The pressure once again getting to Anderson. He stood there actually stood there longer than he could because by the time he delivered the ball, he was being hit. It affected the pass through the playoff, and the Cincinnati Bengals are stymied once again.
It'll be a field goal attempt now by Dave Green. This year, he has been successful in 10 of 19 tries, and it will be a 37-yard attempt. A 37-yard field goal attempt by Green. Ball is down. It is booted up. No good. It is no good. Wide and no good. Wouldn't believe it hit the left goal post. Just hit it back up. As a matter of fact, it's still wobbling out there a little bit. Green got a low snap on the kick. A little time setting it up, and by the time he kicked it, it was low and hit. Well, with the score, Pittsburgh 14, Cincinnati nothing. There's a timeout on the field. Now this.
Well, we gave you the Steelers' record defensively as far as allowing the fewest points in the NFC, or the AFC, that is. The team that has allowed the most through their first 12 games being the New York Jets, 378 points. In other words, they're averaging, giving up better than 30 points a ball game. The top team offensively in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills, who have scored 373 points, an average of 31 points a game, while the team that has scored the fewest, the San Diego Chargers, 148. Over in the NFC, the top team in the NFC defensively as far as giving up points and the whole NFL, the Los Angeles Rams only 127. The Chicago Bears have given up the most, 328. They've also scored the fewest in the NFC, 129. And the team that has scored the most, and it would figure with their 11-1 record, the Minnesota Vikings, they've tacked 332 points on the board through their first 12 contests.
And now the Pittsburgh Steelers have the ball first to hit at their own 20-yard line. Out of the huddle up there now, the sun is shining brightly here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Terry Bradshaw is the quarterback. Wide receivers left and right. Hands it off in close now. Big opener, and Rocky Bleier goes to the 27-yard line. Rocky Bleier, the former Notre Damer. Al Beauchamp, along with Bernard Jackson, came up to make the tackle. It is in advance of the 27-yard line, 2nd and 3. We will remind everybody that this is the first 2 games on Mutual. Today, a big one going on down in Texas country. The Washington Redskins against the Cowboys. The loser's out. The winner still has a chance to go to the playoffs. That is a battle of survival. 2nd down and 3 now at the 27. Bradshaw looks far out to his receiver right and his receiver left. Straight back to put it up this time. Swings it out in the right butt to Bleier. But Bleier's closed off out there by Beauchamp. The linebacker on the far side. I believe once again, Lindsey, that was the secondary receiver. Bradshaw looked downfield first and then went to his outlet pass man that Bleier was going off to his right. But
But again, we'll point out that people around Pittsburgh think that Terry Bradshaw has turned into one sensational quarterback, and he has done it this year. One of the big reasons being they used to accuse him of throwing it in the crowd once in a while. He doesn't do that anymore. He can't get it in there. He just doesn't throw it.
3rd and 4 at the 26-yard line. Bradshaw waiting for his snap now. Gets it, drops straight back to throw. And he was hit just as he turned it loose, and so it's incomplete. He was hit just as he turned it loose. Still fell up. He was trying to get the ball to Larry Brown, but he was short up there. Now the Steeler punting unit comes in.
A second-year man, and he took over from Mike Reed in that defensive line of the Bengals. A very important new addition to the Bengals, new in the sense he's playing regular now, and that's some kind of hole to try and fill.
So deep front formation now for Bobby Walden, who has averaged 39.7, and dropping back Lyle Blackwood and Tom Casanova to receive the punt. Here's the snap. Walden puts it up. It's over to Blackwood's side of the field. Blackwood retreating now, and made the catch at the 25, and was really hit. And hit hard just as he got the football. He was snowed under. So it'll be 1st and 10. Reggie Garrett was the man covering. 49-yard punt. Reggie Garrett caught Blackwood just as he got the ball. It's been spotted at the 23-yard line. 1st and 10. If you're a Bengals fan and you're looking for words of encouragement, that is the second time that the Bengals have stopped the Steelers. They'll take over on offense once again. Their defense seems to be improving as we go along. Now they've got to get some points on the board. Steelers are leading by a score of 14-0. We're in the second quarter in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Cincinnati up to the line now. Running back to an I formation. Split them out now. Left and right. Boobie Clark along with Essex Johnson. Dropping back is Anderson. Plenty of time now. Scrambles out right. And he's simply going to keep it and get as far as he can. He goes out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Picks up about 6 on the play. Everyone covered. It's going to be 2nd and 4. Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, trying to win this game already. They have clinched a playoff spot. They don't know, however, where they'll play or home, and that's what they're trying to settle here this afternoon. If they win, then the Pittsburgh Steelers will have the decided advantage of playing on their home field in each playoff game in which they participate. Isaac Curtis comes to the right side. Chip Myers to the left side, running back to the I formation. Ken Anderson, 6'2", 211-pounder. Waits for the snap. He's from Augustana, Illinois. This time it is taken on a running draw to Essex Johnson. He was closed off by that awesome Pittsburgh defense with no gain. Steve Burnett made the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 4 at the 29-yard line.
Lindsey on that touchdown run on the fumble in the first quarter. Lambert and Thomas each ran that ball 21 yards. It's sort of a group effort as they went in for the touchdown.
This is the most strangest play I've seen since I saw Bully Belinkowitz played by Jack Oakey in a movie a long time ago. Pull off a play about like that. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. Johnson in motion to the outside, and Anderson throws up the middle. He's open. Chip Myers. Chip Myers took it at the 42 or 3, and Glenn Edwards was right there. So we'll see exactly where it's going to be spotted now because he made a final lunge and picked up 2 more. It's going to be 1st and 10, and the ball is spotted at the 47-yard line.
Andy Russell on the blitz that time. You don't see the Bengals blitz that often, but they were blitzing then. Russell was in on him, and it was only Anderson's cool head that made the completion possible on the play.
1st and 10 for Cincinnati, just short of the 48-yard line. Here comes Isaac Curtis to the right side. That's fantastic speed, Curtis does. In motion back to the inside. It's a sweep right now with Essex Johnson carrying across the 50 and popped right there. Picks up 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8 at the 50. Jack Ham, the linebacker from Penn State, who plays so well on the left outside post, came in to make the tackle.
The linebacking core is a good one. As we mentioned, Andy Russell is the old veteran of the group, but they've also got some talent all the way across that threesome. One of the best linebacker crews in all of pro football.
Here comes Joyner to the right side. Isaac Curtis going left. Pittsburgh Steelers deploy the defense now. Jack Lambert, middle linebacker. Anderson waits. He's got the ball now. Drops straight back. Goes to the sideline. Now it's behind the line, but taken complete to Boobie Clark. He gets across the 45 to the 44. Jack Ham came in to make the tackle. They had a receiver over on the sideline, however, swinging downfield was Boobie Clark, who made the catch and advanced to the 44 for 6 yards.
Well, on the play, Boobie Clark was the only man left back to do any blocking for Kenny Anderson. He deployed all his receivers elsewhere, but he ended up catching the pass the outlet. Be on hand December 29th when Maryland beats the University of Florida in Jackson.
Third down. It's 3rd and 2. Pittsburgh defense digs in. Cincinnati at the Pitt 44-yard line. Motion to the outside. 2 men going in motion. Now they set. No setbacks at all here. Now it is Anderson gunning it. It's taken at about the 42. It'll be a first down, I believe. I believe it'll be a first down. J.T. Thomas was the defender there. And as the ball was taken by Essex Johnson, he was topped. But a big forward progress to make it a first down, and it does. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line.
In effect on that play, the Steelers had about a 6-man rush coming. They were expecting a run all the way. The offense of the Bengals all bunched up in the middle, but they went to the pass, and it worked for them. So the Cincinnati Bengals once again trying to get a drive going. They've moved it down to the 42-yard line of Pittsburgh.
First time today that Cincinnati has used that particular formation where they move the setbacks out to either side, set them up outside, and leave nobody really behind the line. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Motion back to the inside by Joyner. Now, setting up is Anderson. Throws it, and it's incomplete. Incomplete. Intended for Joyner. Jack Lambert got his fingertips on it. Jack Lambert deflected it incomplete. 2nd and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Ham also back on the play, harassing the receiver, and once again they had the outlet pass for Anderson as Johnson swept over to the left part of the field, but he elected to go to the deep receiver. It didn't work.
Keep in mind that the division champion with the best one-loss record in the conference will be host to the wild card team. That's the non-division winner with the best one-loss record. And the division champion with the next best one-loss record will be host to the team that wins the other or 3rd division in the conference. The wild card team cannot be the home team, however. Dropping back is Anderson. Steps up and throws. And it's complete to Isaac Curtis at the 20. He jukes to the outside 15. Curtis inside of the 10. And he's stopped at the 8-yard line. 1st and goal to go for Cincinnati at the Pittsburgh 8. But there's a penalty marker across the way. Penalty marker on the play. And it could be a face mask. It could well be a face mask.
Be a personal foul on the Steelers across the way there, and that's exactly what it might have been, Lindsey. And once again, you can prepare for Isaac Curtis. He went 33 yards on that play, but you just can't shut him off because once he gets that ball in his possession, as you mentioned, he has got unbelievable speed.
Referee Ben Bright steps off the penalty, indicating personal foul, and it is on the 4-yard line now. 1st down and goal to go. The Bengals on the Pittsburgh 4. That's the first penalty in this ball game. We have 7 minutes, 52 seconds left to play on the first half. 1st and goal. There goes Curtis to the left side as they come out of the huddle. Boobie Clark is in there with Essex Johnson as the running back. They're aligned in almost a wing left here. Anderson giving it off to Essex Johnson. Piles into the 1-yard line. Stacked up there. 2nd down and goal to go at the 1. Mike Wagner along with Jack Lambert in to make the tackle. Pittsburgh Steelers are leading by a score of 14-0, and the Cincinnati Bengals want to get something on that scoreboard right here, especially before they go in at halftime. 7 minutes, 32 seconds remaining to be played in the first half. The Bengals want the points, as you mentioned. They get the touchdown, they're right back in this, and this team can score a lot, and they can do it quickly. Again, that side alignment, almost a wing left, although Curtis has moved out another yard now. Johnson and Clark are the setback. And again, it is Johnson, and he's piled up right at the goal line. He was piled up right at the goal line, but did not get in. It'll be 3rd down and goal, and it can't be more than inches away when they get him unstacked.
With the tip of the ball, it looked like it's right on the goal line. It couldn't be off more than 1-2 inches on the play, and they get that close to the touchdown.
Here comes Big Stan Fritz into the backfield now. 215-pounder, a rookie from North Carolina State. It'll be Fritz and Boobie Clark, and there's the running back. Essex Johnson has come out. 3rd down and goal to go at about the 1-inch line. Clark and Fritz in an I formation. Anderson waiting for the ball. Here's Fritz, and he dives. Touchdown! Left his foot and dives, and he was thrown back. So all you got to do is get the ball over the plane of the goal line. They go 77 yards in 11 plays. Stan Fritz took it in for the Cincinnati touchdown. Big touchdown for the Bengals. They had to have that. They wanted points on the board, as you mentioned, Lindsey, before halftime. 6:41 left in the second period of play. Dave Green will attempt the extra point. Holding for him is Ricky Davis. Waiting for the snap now. Davis has his hands out to 6. Gets the ball, puts it down. It's booted up now by Green, and it is good. So with the score, the Steelers 14 and the Bengals 7. There's a timeout on the field, and now this.
Well, the winner of today's Washington-Dallas game is assured of winning the NFC's wild card slot in the National Football League playoffs. That in the NFC, and the loser is assured of being out of the playoffs altogether.
And now here's Lindsey.
All right, Dale, it's Dave Green kicking off from the 35. It's Mike Collier center deep. Over to Blount side of the field, however. No, Blount waits. And Blount has it at the 14 to the 15, up the right sideline, 20. Cuts outside 25, goes across the 30, and it stops at the 31-yard line. So it was Bruce Cosby downfield to make the tackle. The Steelers get the ball first and 10. They'll start from their own 31-yard line. If Cincinnati should win here today, they can clinch a wild card spot in the playoffs. Of course, already the Pittsburgh Steelers know that they're in the playoffs. They are hoping to win here today to make them divisional champions so that they can have that home field advantage. Swann goes to the right side. Stallworth to the left side. Franco Harris ahead of Rocky Blount. Now they move Larry Brown, the tight end, over to the right side. Terry Bradshaw, 6'3", 218-pound quarterback. Rocky Blount off the field of the tandem, tried to juke a little left. He got across the line of scrimmage, picked up a yard, maybe two. Second down and 8 at the 33.
Well, now Blount made that run back. He runs back the kickoff to the Steelers. The big news about him today is the fact that he now has 11 interceptions, and that is just 3 short of Dick Night Train Lane's lead record, which was set back in 1952. So he's looking for that ball on defense, too.
Second down and 8 yards to go. Pittsburgh Steelers with those black jerseys, gold trim up to the line. Quickly, Franco Harris outside tackle, and Franco moves across the 35 and on up to the 38-yard line. Picks up 5 yards on the play to be 3rd and 3. Ron Carpenter, 6-year veteran from North Carolina State, made the tackle, along with Jim LeClaire, a 4-year veteran from North Dakota.
John Cole, the Steelers' left tackle, the man that opened up the hole for him that time on the left side of that line. And the Steelers now finding themselves challenged in this ball game. They're sitting on a 14-point lead. Suddenly it's been cut to 7.
Third down and 3 yards to go, so the crowd starts to rise to this third down occasion. Bradshaw has the ball, drops back to throw. Takes a look now, wants to throw long, guns it, and it is incomplete. Stallworth is the man who almost held on, but he's incomplete, and the punting unit comes on now.
You know, Lindsey, I thought we had an offside play there by Brown, the big defensive tackle of the Bengals, but I guess the officials didn't see it that way. He got a good head start anyway.
Coming in to do the punting is Bobby Walton, and dropping back, Lyle Blackwood, along with Tommy Casanova. Steelers are leading 14-7, and we have 5 minutes, 13 seconds remaining to be played in the first half. The sun is shining brightly in Pittsburgh. Walton spirals that ball over to Blackwood's side of the field. He's over near the sideline. He can't get this one. There'll be no run back. It's going to be lined up at the 19-yard line. So that is where Cincinnati will start after the 43-yard punt by Walton.
And Lindsey, perhaps the most important thing about that move is the fact that Cincinnati has now stopped Pittsburgh 3 straight times on defense. And that has got to be what they're doing. They've scored the touchdown. They're holding them. And maybe things are playing a little bit the other way. There's a timeout on the field. The score is Pittsburgh 14, Cincinnati Bengals 7. Well, you know, Rocky Bleier gained only 24 yards on 9 carries against Cleveland last week. The reason might well have been because Rocky didn't have Rocky Bleier blocking for him. After the Steelers' 31-17 win over the Browns, Chuck Noll, Steelers coach, said that basically that was the thing that happened for him. He just didn't have himself out there blocking. As usual, Rocky had the good day throwing those blocks. The benefactor, as usual, Franco Harris, who went over the 1,000-yard mark for the 3rd time with 103 yards on the day. So when you see those rushing statistics after any Pittsburgh game, don't worry about Rocky Bleier if he doesn't have a lot of yardage out beside his name. What he does best is knock down defenders. So Franco can have all those big days. And Franco and all the other Steelers know why Rocky is a starter and not sitting on the bench. We're ready for action. The Cincinnati Bengals taking over on their own 20 board.
Ken Anderson now waits for the snap. Drops straight back, rolls right. He's naked out there. He's going to carry the football back to the inside. He hits the duck up near the 29-yard line. Glenn Edwards, the defender there. Anderson came rolling out to the right side. There was no one to block for him at all, but he cut back in and carried the ball up to the 29. He has gained 45 yards and 3 carries. We're going to bring out the chain now to measure for the possible first down.
Well, that's one of the few times you see a zone defense get you in trouble. The defense was rolling the other way, and there was Anderson all by himself.
Well, of course, keep in mind, the other big game is scheduled to start in about 2 hours from now between the Washington Redskins, Dallas Cowboys. The loser is out of the playoff.
Second down and less than a yard to go. Second down, less than a yard to go for the Cincinnati Bengals. The ball is short of the 30-yard line. Big Bob Johnson, the center, coming over the ball. He was the first draft choice ever for the Bengals. All-American at the University of Tennessee. Here's a handoff, and it's taken now by Boobie Clark. Goes left, cuts back off tackle. Powers it up for the 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Steve Furness made the stop.
Lindsey, if we were in Cincinnati, we'd be hearing Boobie about right now.
That's what they do. That's going to be a penalty on the play. A penalty on the play. Dan Drives is checking out with the Steelers. The penalty is against Cincinnati, which will nullify what otherwise would have been a first down. So they're checking out the options now. Penalty is marked off to the 24-yard line. Illegal motion. Illegal motion is the call.
So the Bengals, who want very much to get another score up on the board, 4:22 left in this first half of play, temporarily stymied by that infraction. I think that's only the second penalty in this ball game. We've had a clean contest so far.
Second and 6 now for the Bengals at their own 24. Second and 6, running back in an I formation. Anderson has the ball. Quick pitch now. And here's a pass that is batted down. A quick pitch was to Sam Fitz. And the running back was trying to get it downfield. And Jack Ham made the leap and slapped it right back in his face. Sam Fitz took the ball, was sweeping right, and it was going to be a halfback pass. But it's incomplete.
What a play by Jack Ham. He came in there, saw what was coming, jumped up and batted it away. We'll pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, your network for news and sports.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Back at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, and the Bengals take the ball just inside their own 25. Lindsey?
Can they pick it up now on 3rd down? It is 3rd and 6. They run a slot right. Now we're going to get another football out on the field, so we held up just for a moment. It is spotted. Right up there near the 25, outside the 24. Motion back to the inside by Jordan. Fake draw. Anderson up the middle, and it is intercepted at the 39. Mike Wagner to the right to the 30. Mike Wagner to the 25. Mike Wagner to the 20. Wagner is finally dropped to the 19-yard line. The ball was thrown high over the intended receiver and was intercepted by Wagner. John Cinci finally brought him down.
The second big mistake for Cincinnati. That fumble that went in for a touchdown, and now the big interception. And who is it? Is it Coach Woody Hayes says there are 2 things out of 3 that can happen when you throw the ball that can happen bad. That's why he doesn't like it. So the forward pass, if you live by it, you can also die by it, and that certainly hurt the Bengals there.
The second Cincinnati turnover of this ball game. Here's Pittsburgh ball 1st and 10 at the Bengals 19-yard line. Bradshaw asking for a little quiet. Moves his tight end Larry Blount left to right. Running back to split wide receivers left and right. Charge but no contact. Now there was contact apparently. Here's the side throw. Big Bob Brown came across. Tried to get back. But there was contact. The penalty will be now against the Cincinnati Bengals, and we'll put the ball up there now at the 14-yard line. Outside.
Now when things aren't going right for you, they just aren't going right for you. The big interception, the run back, and now another penalty has moved the ball down inside the 15-yard line. The Steelers threatening to go in again.
First down and 5 yards to go for Pittsburgh at the Cincinnati 14. Again, they move Brown left to right, the big tight end. Running back to split. Well, a charge, but no contact that time. Now it's Rocky Blount. Cleveland right, cuts back off tackle, drives into the 10-yard line. Rocky Blount, the Vietnam veteran, former Notre Damer, brought down by Bernard Jackson. It's going to be second down now, and about a yard to go.
Another score here by Pittsburgh to put Cincinnati right back where they were about 10 minutes ago, and that's trailing by 14 points. They definitely don't want that. I think they would much rather just the field goal because they don't want them in there for 6 more right now.
Second down and a yard to go. Franco Harris and Rocky Blount, the split running back. Franco Harris, creeping left now. Turns the corner. He's got the first down. Still going to the 5. Gets to the flag and went out of bounds at the flag. Now, just a moment. At the flag, there's all sorts of discussion. One official raised his hand as though touchdown. They drove 19 yards in 2 plays, and it is a touchdown. It is a touchdown. up 53 yards in 8 plays. The 53 yards ties his career high of 1,055 yards for the season. A great run by Franco Harris on that play. He was really sealed in at one point. He did a change of pace, then turned on the speed again, and as mentioned, got right in at the flood. Roy Girella will attempt to convert from Walden, holding it up, and it's good. So with the score, Pittsburgh 21, Cincinnati 7. It's a timeout on the field. Now this...
A Maryland attorney who filed suit against the NFL seeking to set aside the result of the Washington Redskins' sudden death loss at St. Louis thinks it's time that someone stuck up for the fans. George Morris says, I can foresee the time when there will be a third party in the NFL Players Association's negotiations with the league owners, a fans organization. Morris and 4 other fans claimed that a controversial touchdown scored out by St. Louis in the final seconds of regulation play on November 16th was not in accordance with league rules. They asked that the NFL be enjoined from considering the game a 20-17 St. Louis victory, but were turned down in both the U.S. District and District of Columbia Superior Courts. Says Morris, I think this thing is like Watergate. I don't see any difference between NFL Commissioner Pete Rozell's position and former President Nixon's. He's just stoning it through. Well, right now, 14 points the difference with about 3 minutes to go in the second period.
As the kickoff is taken at the 1-yard line by Lindsey Elliott. He's coming left at the 10 to the 15, and he is off before he can get to the 20. Just got first and 10 at the 18-yard line. It was Randy Grossman who made the tackle. So the ball will be brought in and spotted at the 18.
Lindsey Elliott, referred to in Cincinnati as electrifying Linville because of some of the big run backs got stopped before he really got started. The big story is the fact the Bengals once again have to start within their own 20-yard line. They've got 3 minutes and 4 seconds in which to do something about their 14-point deficit.
Pittsburgh came into this game with a record of 11 wins and only 1 loss. Cincinnati came in with a record of 10 wins and 2 losses. Wide receivers left and right. They run his slot left with a lone setback. First and 10 at the 18, Anderson. Now for motion. Isaac Curtis back to the inside and across. Here's a quick pitch now. Taken by Essex Johnson. He passes him off tackle right, but he gets nowhere. Ball is right at the 19. Give him a yard. L.C. Greenwood in to make the tackle. Second out of that. An awesome front 4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. L.C. Greenwood, Joe Green, Ernie Holmes, Dwight White, and backed up by Steve Burnett, who's in there frequently. Now Mike Wagner is limping off the field. And Donnie Shell replaces him. Donnie Shell has replaced Wagner. Second and out at the 19-yard line. Chip Myers, part of the right side. Charlie joined it to the left side, and Curtis in the slot left. Anderson dropping back. And he's being sacked. Inside the 10. Back to the 8-yard line. To find no one there. Ernie Holmes got to him. And Dwight White. Ernie Holmes looped around the other rusher and came zooming in on Anderson. Dropped him all the way back on about the 8-yard line. And Anderson absolutely had no time at all to get rid of the ball. Incidentally, the last touchdown scored by Franco Harris was his 27th career touchdown for the Steelers. That breaks the old club record held by John Henry Johnson. Third down play coming in now. Third and 19, and we're winding down to the 2-minute warning. 2:03, 2:02, 2:01, and there's the automatic timeout. Well, the regular Monday night NFL season winds up on Mutual. Next Monday is Lindsey Nelson and Al Lester bring you the New York Jets San Diego game. Next Saturday afternoon, a doubleheader. Denver at Miami and Pittsburgh in Los Angeles. Some sort of preview the Super Bowl. Followed by the first-round playoff games, December 27th and 28th. And the big one, the AFC Championship game, Sunday, January 4th. Hear it all on Mutual. Also a reminder to join Al Lester in New Orleans. New Year's Eve, Mutual brings you all the color and excitement of the Sugar Bowl over many of these same Mutual stations. It's Alabama and Penn State in what should be a classic battle. The Sugar Bowl, New Year's Eve, over most of these Mutual network stations. 2 minutes left in this first half. The Steelers ahead 21-7, and they're threatening to go in again as they have moved the ball down to the 8-yard, just outside of the 8-yard line of Cincinnati. It looked like Cincinnati was kind of turning the ball game around. They were holding the Steelers on defense, but all of a sudden, a couple of big mistakes, that big interception, and again, the Steelers have the initiative, and again, they're threatening to put it out of reach. At we start play now, the Cincinnati Bengals are huddling at their own goal line, out of the huddling up to the line. Third down and 19 yards to go for the Bengals. We are late in the first half of the ball game. Pittsburgh leading by a score of 21-7. Wide receivers left and right, a lone setback. That's Essex Johnson. Anderson gets the football, drops straight back. He's at his own goal line, steps up to run it. Now throws, and it is incomplete. As he hits Charlie Joyner at about the 30. Charlie could not hold on, and that will bring the punting unit out to the Cincinnati Bengals.
That time Kenny Anderson did have time to throw, and he did deliver the pass, but just couldn't hold on to it by Joyner. So Cincinnati's going to have to punt the ball away. Unless Dave Green really gets his foot in it, Pittsburgh's going to have excellent field position with a minute 54 left to go in this first half of play. Steelers leading at 21-7.
Dave Brown and Glenn Edwards have got back to field this punt. Green will be taking the lead in his own end zone. 1 minute 54 seconds on the clock remaining to be played in the first half. Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. There's the snap. Green gets his foot under it. Brown is waiting. He takes it at the 43 to the 45. Got back to the 50. 45 to the 40. Brown is 35 to 30. Jason Johnson 25 to 20. Now headed for the flag. He's gone in. Touchdown. Touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big return by Dave Brown, who went upright, cut all across the field and took it in at the flag in the left corner. Brown, the number one draft choice of the Steelers. 48 yards on that play. 48 on the punt, a 53-yard return
for Brown, the number one draft choice, and he has been getting increasingly dangerous. However,
there is clipping on the play.
Okay, I missed it. I looked for the flags and didn't see one, but evidently it was there.
Clipping on the play nullifies a beautiful 53-yard run, brings the ball back. There is a penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers, being marked off by Tim Price, the referee from Denver, puts it down to the 31-yard line. Now the Steelers have the ball back at their own 31.
Well, obviously, Steeler fans in this capacity-filled park, it looks like, aren't too happy about that. However, if you just want to look at it from an aesthetic value, it was a beautiful run back by Mr. Brown. The Steelers now have a minute 38 to try and put some more points on the board. They lead it 21-7.
That's the clipping occurred on the run back. It's first and 10 at the 31-yard line. Bradshaw has him up there with wide receivers left and right. Hands it off in close. Franco Harris coming back from the 35 to the 40 to the 45 and out of bounds. Franco Harris picking up yardage. Most valuable player in the Super Bowl game last year. Picked up 14 now. He is piling them up here this afternoon. It's going to be first and 10 to 46. He's carried 9 times. Franco Harris has for 67 yards.
Franco runs that seems a little different than most of the backs you look at. He has that fullback jaunt, like he rumbles. But the thing that takes you out is that he moves at a pretty good clip. You wouldn't think he'd be fast, but he can actually get out there, turn that corner before the defensive backs can react to it.
First down and 10 yards to go. The clock shows a minute 31 seconds remaining in the first half. The running backs are split wide receivers left and right. Terry Bradshaw from Louisiana Tech, south back. Samuels out to the right side. Takes a look downfield. Throws it on the run. And it is Stallworth trying to dive and catch. But it was short-hopped and it's an incomplete pass. It'll be second and 10. As the ball is brought back to the 46-yard line.
That time the receiver had 3 defenders around him. And I mentioned about Bradshaw failed or doesn't throw into a crowd anymore. He did deliver that ball into a crowd, but he delivered it very low. If the catch had been made, it'd have been okay, and it would have been very, very difficult to intercept by any of the Bengal defenders.
Franco Harris, as we told you, has set a new career on season-high rushing. His previous best year was 1972 when he had 1,055 yards. Steelers are up there now. Wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw dropping back. And so this time it's Stallworth and intercepted. It's intercepted by Cincinnati, taken by Ken Riley. He took it right over the hands of Stallworth, and so Cincinnati gets the ball first and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
Well, they'll have a minute and 14 seconds to try and do something about it. They trail by some 14 points. Kenny Riley saw that pass coming. He laid off until the ball was delivered, then swooped in front of the intended receiver, picked it off, and was stopped at his about 34-yard line. So they'll start from their own 34, as we mentioned, a minute 14 to try and put a few more points on the board, and they very much want to do that, Lindsey.
Right now, to get things straightened out, Cincinnati's taking a timeout. Cincinnati Bengals were a man short. They took a timeout to straighten it out.
All-Stars from the East take on the All-Stars of the West in the traditional East-West Shrine Game, Saturday, January 3rd. And Mutual will bring you all the action. Join Lindsey Nelson and Al Wester for the East-West Shrine Game. January 3rd over most of the Mutual Network stations. We've got a timeout on the field with the ball located at about the 35, just shy of the 35-yard line of the Cincinnati Bengals. They'll be taking it over. We mentioned they trailed by 14 points as we get close to halftime. And I suppose we can look down and look at the pass. You know, Lindsey, I just looked up and noticed we've got almost total blue sky over us. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how it happened either, but it is. It's a beautiful afternoon right now. It is very comfortable as far as the temperature is concerned. The sun is shining brightly. I want to tell you that in the summertime, I have come to baseball games here in this stadium in much worse weather.
Well, I thought we were going to have the rain and the cold and the whole thing, and it started out that way, but it hasn't turned out. As you mentioned before the game, they had this huge tarp over the field, and they had it put up on some risers, and they were blowing hot air in there trying to get it, and they brought out the old Zamboni machine and were scraping it off and blowing it off. The field looks to be in good condition, and I really haven't noticed anybody slipping and sliding, so they've done a good job on this artificial turf. You know, today's game is being heard around the world on shortwave on more than 700 stations of the American Forces Network. That's, of course, plus the family of Mutual.
Cincinnati with the ball now, first and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Anderson back, and he throws a little screen right. Taken out there by Essex Johnson. Actually, just out into the right flat. There was no screen ever formed for it. He goes out of bounds, and it'll be taken to the inbounds marker and spotted at the 41-yard line. Pick up of about 6 yards on the play, so make it second down. And 4 to go.
Kenny Anderson operates in the short period of time. He operates very well on these pass plays. He works the team well, and as we mentioned, he's a deadly passer, and he has got the receivers out there, so something could happen in a minute and 5 seconds.
Anderson had been out with a chest injury, but he came back last week to hit on 20 of 25 passes. He's dropping back now. Guns this one, and it's complete. Taken by Myers across the 40 and inside onto the 37 or 38-yard line.
Jack Lambert almost got his hands on that ball for the Steelers. He leaped high. It just went over his outstretched fingertips and went in for the reception. Cincinnati moves the ball down inside the 40-yard line. It was a 21-yard pass.
First and 10 now for the Bengals at the Pittsburgh 38. Anderson back again. Takes a look towards the sideline, and it is complete. Taken by Essex Johnson, who is being ever so careful. Keep both feet on the ground before he crossed the white stripe on the right side. The ball is at the 31-yard line.
So it's another good little pickup for Cincinnati. And if they move down the field in a big hurry, there's still 37 seconds left. I'm sure they're still thinking touchdown, but they have the option of going for the field goal.
Second down and 3 now at the 31. Anderson is 10 of 16 forward passing for 138 yards here this afternoon. 37 seconds remaining to be played in the half. 37 seconds on the clock. Here comes the Cincinnati Bengals. Now out of huddle left to the line. Isaac Curtis comes to the right side. Chip Myers goes to the left side. The running backs are split. Second down and 3 yards to go. Anderson now waiting. He sends Curtis in motion back to the inside. He's going to throw. Drops back. Wanted to throw long. He's going to be sacked. He is sacked at the 41. Andy Russell got to him. Andy Russell. They had Isaac Curtis going on a fly down the right side, and that's whom they hope to get the ball to. However, it's a sack, and now Cincinnati is taking a timeout. Ball is at the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh. A loss of 10 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 13 when play is resumed, but it's timeout for the Cincinnati Bengals.
No blips on that play by Andy Russell. It was just simply him out finessing and overpowering the man that was trying to hold him out, and he got to Anderson. Anderson knocked back 10 more yards, and this pretty well puts them out of field goal range. That'd be some kind of kick about 51 yards from there. They only have 32 seconds to do something about the situation. Obviously, you can look for Kenny to go back to the air and try and at least get into kicking range of Dave Green here. And he has 32 seconds to operate. In the NFL, sometimes that is an amazingly long time.
Veteran Paul Brown along the sideline. A couple of the ball players came over. He's been talking to Anderson. Paul Brown, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, the man for whom the Cleveland Browns were named, former head coach at Massillon, Ohio High School. He was coach at Ohio State during the war years at Great Lakes. Then came out, of course, for the Cleveland Browns, where he built a quarterback. A fellow named Otto Graham, who had been a single-wing tailback at Northwestern, and become one of the great quarterbacks of all time under the tutelage of Paul Brown, who was likely, he was also taking Ken Anderson on down to Illinois under his wing and made him a top-flight quarterback. 3rd down and 13 for the Cincinnati Bengals. The ball is at the Pittsburgh 41. 32 seconds on the clock. Contact before the snap. There's a flag. Dwight White was across now. Was he pulled off? And yards, and that'll cost Cincinnati 5 yards. Back to 46.
Excuse me, Lindsey. After mounting a fine attack in such a short period of time, all of a sudden Cincinnati is going the wrong way. They're all the way back now on the 46-yard line of Pittsburgh, and they're going to end up with third down and about 17 yards to go on this play.
At the 46-yard line, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 32 seconds on the clock. They're in a slot route. Motion back to the inside by Myers. Then Anderson takes it, goes up the middle of Myers. He's inside the 30-yard line. Hit immediately by J.C. Thomas. It is at the 29-yard line now.
The clock is still running down, Lindsey. We're at 17, 16 seconds, and now we got a timeout. But we had about 6, 7 seconds bang off the clock there before they finally got timeout called.
Cincinnati has called this timeout. It's going to be fourth down and a yard to go when play is resumed. The ball is just inside the 30.
Well, as we said, another big football game this afternoon, that between Washington and Dallas, about an hour and a half from now. The loser eliminated from the playoff, and the winner almost assuredly or definitely will get at least a wild card spot in the playoffs. So a big game down at Texas Stadium this afternoon in Irving.
Ball moved just inside the 30-yard line at about the 29-yard line. There are 16 seconds remaining on the clock. It is fourth down play, 1 yard to go. Bengals, that's their situation. They trail by 14 points, 21-7. Definitely want to get some points up on that board before halftime. They are not out of it. They have shown in this first half, I think, that they can stop Pittsburgh. It's been the turnovers and the interceptions that killed them, and two of them really. That fumble that was picked up and run by two different players 21 yards into the end zone, and then finally the intercepted pass that set up the third TD of the day for the Steelers. So it's been the mistake and not the overpowering Steeler defense, at least in the last two drives.
The Steelers are back in their huddle now. They have used up, the Bengals have used up their last timeout. They have none remaining. Fourth down of the yard to go, and Bruce Carpus in there in a double tight end alignment. They'll be hopeful of picking up the first down here. Instead, they go to the air and dropping back. Here's Anderson. He throws left sideline. Penalty marker's been thrown. Penalty marker's been thrown along the right sideline. Andy Russell was the defender. It was Essex Johnson who was trying to take the ball on the far side. But a penalty marker was thrown far across the field on the other side. The incompletion would have given the ball to the Steelers. Now, let's check out the penalty. The penalty flag was thrown far away from the ball on the right side. The official over where the pass was indicating that he wasn't in bounds when he caught the ball.
Exactly right.
Right. But there is a 5-yard penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's into the curved ball on the other side, a holding penalty. And so that will be first and 10 for Cincinnati at the 25.
And they're down to 10 seconds with something to do about it. 21-17, they trail. The ball situated just inside the 25-yard line, and here come the Bengals.
Here they come now. 10 seconds on that clock. Anderson looks around at his setback. First and 10 at the Pittsburgh 25-yard line. Motion to the outside. Anderson dropping back. Penalty marker's thrown. Goes long to the corner and overthrows. It's out of bounds. J.T. Thomas, the defender, finally went back and got a hand on it. They're trying to get it to Isaac Curtis. But there's another penalty marker on the field to check out.
Lindsey Ernie Holmes was putting the big rush on Kenny Anderson. He got rid of the ball, but I think he put it out of bounds unintentionally because the intended receiver, Curtis, was well covered down there.
Dave Green and the field goal unit has come out now as we have 3 seconds showing on the clock. They're still conferring about the penalty with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ricky Davis, who holds, is out there as well. The penalty is against Cincinnati Bengals. Throws the ball back to the 30-yard line. It's a motion penalty. It's going to be a 5-yarder for him, so it'll push him back to, he'll kick the ball away from about the 37-yard line now, which would make it a 47-yard kick. Ricky Davis is holding for Dave Green at the hash mark left. 3 seconds showing on the clock remaining to be played in the first half. Davis hand out stretch, waits for the snap, puts it down. It's booted, and it is long, and it is wide to the left and no good. Wide to the left and no good, and time has run out. That's the end of the first half. With the score, Pittsburgh 21, Cincinnati 7.
A lot of news in baseball. 1,365 RBIs during 18 seasons with the San Francisco Giants, St. Louis Cardinals, Atlanta Braves, Oakland A's, Boston Red Sox, and Kansas City Royals.
Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, PA. And the Steelers lead the Bengals 21-7. It's halftime. We're just moments away from the kickoff. First half statistics is officially in now. Total first down, well, 2-6-1 run it for Cincinnati. 4-4-0 for Pittsburgh. Total net yards, 200 for Cincinnati, 121 for Pittsburgh. So the Bengals really had more yardage in their game in that first half than the Steelers, but the Steelers are leading it. The big difference, of course, the fumbles and the turnovers in the first half. One a fumble play, and as we mentioned, two players handled 21 yards each, and they finally went in after three Steeler hands touches in for the touchdown, and then the big interception set up the third touchdown for Pittsburgh, and they lead it by 14 points going into the second half of play, and they will receive the ball to our left, so they've definitely got a chance to do something about it. And one of the big things we pointed out about halftime was the fact that Cincinnati was able to hold Pittsburgh on defense at least the last 3 or 4 times they had the ball. It was the turnovers that were the second half. Play-by-play. Here's Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Dale, it's at the 35-yard line, teed up, and here comes Jarrella. It's going to go over to Linville Elliott's side of the field. Elliott moves up to the 5-yard line. He has it out of the 10, straight ahead to the 15, 20, veers left, gets across the 25, and it stacks up just there, inches across the 25-yard line. So they'll start first and 10. Randy Grossman downfield to make the tackle. Cincinnati Bengals have been in their dressing room now for a halftime adjustment under the tutelage of head coach Paul Blount. They are trailing by 14 points. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the defending world champions, leading here 21-7 as we start the third quarter. Ken Anderson, of course, quarterbacking the Cincinnati Bengals. Wide receivers left and right, and the slot left, actually. Gives them only one step back. Motion by Isaac Curtis. Back to the inside and across. Now dropping back at Hanson. Penalty marker. Long pass, and it is taken down about the 30-yard line. Taken at the 27. Charlie Joyner was the man, but there's a penalty marker because there was motion on the right side. The right flanker moved, and that constitutes, of course, an illegal shift and an illegal motion, and the penalty is against Cincinnati Bengals. They came out with a big play, pulled it off, but all to no avail.
Mel Blount was running stride for stride with Joyner down that left sideline, but somehow Joyner got the ball. He slowed up momentarily. Blount was slightly past it. We mentioned Mel has 11 interceptions going into this game. He's only 3 away from tying the all-time NFL record held by a fellow by the name of Night Train Lane in 1952.
First and 15 now for the Bengals. The ball back to their own 20-yard line. Isaac Curtis comes to the right side, and Chip Myers, who has replaced Charlie Joyner, is flanked to the left side. Running back to split. Anderson drops straight back. Takes a look, swings it out. Now behind the line, incomplete. It is simply an incomplete pass behind the line, trying to get it to big Ed Williams. Ed Williams starting the second half in place of Boobie Clark. And Ed is another big one, going about 245. They've got a couple of huge fullbacks. As I alluded to early in the game, Lindsey, it somewhat mystifies some folks why the Bengals have not been able to put a better ground game together this season. They looked like they were coming out of it last week, but it's sort of been missing. They've moved the ball through the air. John Shenters, the messenger guard, started out. He got about 15 yards and then turned back to be reassured of what the message was. Second down play coming here. 15 yards to go. It's at the 20. Cincinnati has the ball in their own territory. Fake draw. Now swinging that right. Taken out there by Linville Elliott. And he gets across the 20-yard line and is hit immediately right there. J.T. Thomas made the tackle.
Lindsey, I watched that play, and Kenny Anderson set it up absolutely beautiful. A beautiful fake to get Ed Williams going through. Williams acted out his part, the little swing pass out to the right. Everything worked perfectly, and it just didn't pick up the yardage you thought it was going to. The Steelers reacted beautifully.
Third down and 14 yards to go. Comes Myers to the right side. They run the slot left here, spreading them out on this third and long. Dropping back. Anderson up the middle, and it is complete. Taken by Linville Elliott across the 35 to the 36-yard line. If it's spotted right there, it'll be a first down. It is, and it is. Jack Lambert and Mike Wagner made the stop.
Jack Lambert, middle linebacker for the Steelers. Only one of the Steelers' front seven, if you can call it that, not mentioned in the All-Pro team. 16 yards on that pickup. Back to Lambert, he's only a second-year man, and you talk about rangy. This guy goes 218, which isn't all that heavy, but he's 6'5", and I wouldn't want to pass into that.
Isaac Curtis, far to the right side. Charlie Joyner, far to the left side. 2 set back for Anderson. Start in motion now. Curtis back in motion toward the line of scrimmage, and it is thrown and incomplete, intended for Curtis. He had turned right and was flying. Incomplete. Mike Wagner trying to get to him to cover. 2nd and 10. At the 37-yard line. Howard Fest, the messenger guard, 8-year veteran from Texas, coming in with the next play.
Wagner made that big first period or first half interception. Almost got to that one, too. He was high up in the air. Might have gotten his fingertips on it, but it was over him.
2nd down and 10 yards to go. Joyner to the left side. Curtis to the right side. Running back to the I formation. Ken Anderson waits for the snap. Motion to the outside now. And it is taken by Linville Elliott, and he is pulled out. Jack Ham was not fooled at all. Jack Ham, the 5-year veteran from Penn State, pulled him down to the 35.
You just mentioned linebacker in Penn State. That almost anymore sounds synonymous. And I think about 3/4 of them come out of there sometimes.
They've had some great ones. They've had great ones at all positions there for a lot of years.
You know, Joe Paterno will take that Penn State into the Sugar Bowl against Bear Bryant and Alabama. Game that will be broadcast over Mutual.
Now they come up with Chip Myers left. Charlie Joyner right. Isaac Curtis set in the slot right. So Anderson is ready to put it up here. 3rd down play. Drops straight back. Steps up in the pocket. Scrambles loose. Goes around left looking. He's going to carry it himself. As he cuts across the 45, he's trying to get to the first down stick. I don't think he made it. Jack Lambert up to make the stop.
Looking through the glasses, looked like he was just a little shy, but you know, some smart running. Anderson will take off and run, but when he thinks he's about ready to get popped, he goes down. An injury to him would be brutal.
Now the punting unit comes out for Cincinnati. The ball is spotted at the 45-yard line. Yard short. Anderson is 53 yards and 4 times carrying on the ground. He has picked up 53 yards. Dave Green back in deep punt formation. Glenn Edwards is dropped back. Along with Dave Brown. Now Green punts it, wobbles it downfield. It is taken at the 22-yard line. Glenn Edwards bobbled it and picked it up, a 33-yard punt. So it'll be 1st and 10 now, starting at the 26-yard line.
Looked like there was a little crease there. He might have gotten through, but he did bobble the ball, and by the time he picked it back up, the thing had closed up, and he was immediately taken down.
Now the big crowd here at Three Rivers Stadium wants to see the defending world champion Pittsburgh Steelers move the ball. They're leading by a score of 21-7. Swann goes to the right side, Stallworth left. Terry Bradshaw, the quarterback. Running backs are split. Bradshaw with the ball now, hands it off, taken by Franco Harris. I'll tackle right up to the 30, 35. Franco Harris to the 35-yard line. A typical Franco Harris run, broke through one tackle, almost broke the second. Finally rode the man down and ended up getting it all the way to the 35-yard line. Franco having a big day. He had 6 or 7 yards before that carry, headed for another 100-yard day. Picked up 9 yards on the rush, brought down by Ron Carpenter. Here comes Stallworth to the left side and Lynn Swann right. 2nd down and 1 yard to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Leave this one on the ground in close in hopes of picking up the first down. Jim LeClaire, Sherman White coming in to make the tackle. Franco was stacked up at the 35-yard line. So no gain on the play. Make it 3rd on a yard to go. Franco Harris stacked up by the Cincinnati defense.
That's one of the few times you'll see Franco not picking up yardage, but White was right there waiting for him, and as a matter of fact, that entire center of the Bengal line was waiting for Mr. Franco. And when you get enough guys, he will go down.
Now they come up in the I formation. Now wing right. Motion from the outside. Taken by Rocky Blyer. Blyer struggling. Now, did he get to the point of the stick? That's what he was trying to do. The officials now stopped the clock to get him unstacked so they can spot the ball very carefully. That was a 3rd down play. They needed a yard, and it's right up there. And the question is, where exactly is the ball going to be spotted?
The The Bengals did push him back, but it's that forward motion we're interested in, and he got very, very close, as you indicated.
They're going to bring out the chain and measure for the possible first down here, I believe. Here they come, the chain gang.
And let's remind everybody, this is the first of two big games on Mutual today. Washington taking on the Cowboys. The winner is still alive in the playoffs. The loser goes home.
Steelers did not make it. Steelers did not make it. It is inches short, and the crowd, of course, says go for it. The crowd always says go for it because they're not under contract to anybody.
Yes, indeed. Not that deep. You got a 14-point lead, and you're deep in your own territory. Even if it is close, you don't go.
On formation now. Bobby Walton is back to receive the long snap. Then Edwards, or rather, Lyle Blackwood is dropped back there, along with Tommy Casanova. Walton has plenty of time. Puts it up, however, a little short, a high trajectory. Hitting down on the 38-yard line. Now Cincinnati takes a bounce, and it's going to be blown dead at the 31. They'll start first and 10 at the 31-yard line. 33-yard punt.
Lindsey, even if the Bengals and the Steelers ended up with identical records, Pittsburgh would be the one to win the divisional title. The Bengals have lost to Cleveland and Houston, while Pitt has lost only to Buffalo. With the score, Pittsburgh 21, Cincinnati 7. There's a timeout on the field now.
Taking a look at National Basketball Association action Friday night, Bob McAdoo pumped in 39 points, and reserve guard Bob White came off the bench to score 14 points and hand out 7 assists as the Buffalo Braves down the New York Knicks 123-110. Spencer Haywood topped New York with 26 points. Elsewhere in the NBA, Boston whipped Washington 130-108 as everybody on the Celtics, and including the whole bench, get into the scoring column. John Havlicek high with 24 points. Kansas City defeated Chicago 109-99. Cleveland topped Milwaukee 109-91. The Lakers raked Philadelphia 114-102 to remain unbeaten at home this year, and Seattle dumped Detroit 97-95. Over in the American Basketball Association, Denver nipped Virginia 110-107. The New York Nets beat St. Louis 106-98, and San Antonio toppled Kentucky 107-100. Just about ready for more action as we go back to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh.
Back in Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati has the ball deep in their own territory, about 31, and here's Mr. Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Dale Conquest. Ken Anderson brings them up now. They have wide receivers left and right. Running back to split out. Anderson takes the snap. Full pivot. He handed it off. Taken in there by Essex Johnson, but not far, about 2 yards. Ernie Holmes in to make the tackle. Along with Jack Ham. As they started this again of a yard, so make it 2nd and 9. That's the 32-yard line. Paul Blount, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. And for 7 years, Chuck Noll played on Brown teams. Chuck Noll now, of course, a very successful head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Johnson has carried 10 passes for 18 yards. Curtis is wide to the right side, ready to fly. Motion to the outside by Johnson. Dropping back now is Anderson. He simply scrambled. He's sacked. He's sacked, and the ball rolls away, but the whistle is blown. It's back at the 19-yard line. L.C. Greenwood was there to make the tackle. The ball rolled away, but it had been blown dead. So it's just a big, big sack. And Anderson was dropped at the 19.
L.C. Greenwood came blowing in there like a runaway locomotive, and Anderson tried to get out of his way, but he just didn't have enough room to do it, and Greenwood wrapped those big arms around him and took him down like a little baby.
Clear down, and 22 to go now. Ball back there on the 19.
Scoreboard here in Pittsburgh is going defense, so they know what to look for, Lindsey.
Slot right, and Curtis is the slot back. Anderson waiting to get the ball and throw it. He's dropping back. Better protection this time. Moves up now. Throws out to the left side. Taking out there in the left flat. Bob Trumpy is the tight end. However, it is not nearly enough for a first down. No, Blount was out there as well. Ball moved up to the 30-yard line. Hunting in it comes on the hand. This for the Pittsburgh defense. The Big D working in Pittsburgh today. It's a beautiful day, as we mentioned. And the fans, and it looks like a full house just looking around. The fans are enjoying themselves. They think this team's going all the way one more time. Dave Green is going to do the punting now. Brown and Edwards have dropped back to receive it. Green's waiting for the snap. Little high, floated down. Boots it up to the right side, end over end. And it is hitting at the 49 and rolling back to the 50 where it is down. It was down by Jack Novak. A 23-yard punt gives Pittsburgh excellent field position. First and 10 for the Steelers. They'll have the ball at the 50-yard line. However, there is a penalty marker on the punt, a penalty marker. As you know, only the outside men can go down on a punt until it is kicked. So that was the penalty against the Bengals, but it is being refused, declined by Pittsburgh because they want the ball at the 50.
They got the ball nose on the 50-yard line, and they aren't going to get much better field position than that. There's a timeout on the field. Score, Pittsburgh 21, Cincinnati 7. Now this word. Well, Chuck Noll is the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know. You know, Noll has won 51 games since coming to Pittsburgh back in 1969. That's quite a feat considering that the record that first year was 1 win, 13 losses, no ties. That's the kind of club he took over here in Pittsburgh. He has built the Steelers on draft choices. Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Lynn Swann, all first-round draft choices in Pittsburgh. As a matter of fact, 30 of the 43-man roster were chosen by the Steelers in the college draft. 3 more were picked up as free agents shortly after the draft. Cinci is the only player who came to the Steelers in a trade since Noll took over. Noll says he feels that in a trade, you usually end up getting somebody else's problem, and he doesn't want to go that route. The players he's traded off have done well in other teams. We mentioned Preston Pearson down in Dallas, but that's he holds on to the first-round draft. Score 21-7 here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers on top, and they got the ball at the 50. Here's Lindsey.
First and 10 now for the defending world champion, Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Wide receivers left and right. Now in an I formation with Rocky Blyer. The tailback. Anderson draws back, swings it out to Blyer on the right flat. And he can't go anywhere. He's going to be thrown for a loss. Hoping to get it out to Blyer and let him do a little running on sort of a screen right. Ken Johnson came and make the tackle. 5-year veteran from Indiana. And big Bob Blount from Arkansas A&M. Ball is back to the 45. Make it second down and 15 yards to go.
Cincinnati had that play pegged all the way. They had about 3 or 4 men out on the flat just waiting for Rocky, and he got the ball and tried to turn it upfield, but there was no place to put it.
It turned out to be a beautiful afternoon here in Pittsburgh. Second and 15. Bradshaw now handing it out to Franco Harris, coming left, and Franco keeps running to the 50. Broke 2 tackles and took it to the 49-yard line. 6-yard pickup for Franco Harris. Elbow chop, and Bernard Jackson finally brought him down.
Franco running with the bandit, as they say. He shed 2 blockers, or 2 tacklers, I should say, and he almost carried 2 more with him before he finally went down just shy, or just over the 50-yard line, I should say.
Third down and 9 yards to go. Ball is at the 49-yard line now of the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh is leading by a score of 21-7. We're in the third quarter. Wide receivers left and right, a choice with no contact. Bradshaw. Throwing long, and it is gathered in at the 30-yard line. Gathered in at the far side. Lynn Swann can be marked at the 31st and 10 on the long pass. Swann, an 18-yard pickup. Lynn Swann, the man in the clutch, once again comes up with a reception. Pretty well coverage, pretty good coverage down there by Cincinnati, but he just took the ball away. And Lindsey, the official attendance is now known, 48,889 here in the beautiful stadium today in Pittsburgh. They're enjoying themselves thoroughly because the Pittsburgh Steelers are leading. Swann, by the way, has had 4 receptions today for 47 yards. He's going far to the right side. Stallworth is coming left. First and 10 Steelers at the Cincinnati 30. The running back to split. Terry Bradshaw. Here's a quick hit. Blyer dribbles it once, dribbles it twice. Nice being pushed out of bounds. Marvin Cobb was the defender over there. It was designed to be a quick pitch to the outside, but was not handled. So it's going to be marked at the 34-yard line.
Rocky Blyer never did get his hands on the thing. He dribbled it once, as you mentioned, picked it up, and he still didn't have full control of it as he was scooted on out of bounds. So any pickup on that particular play was nullified by trying to get a hold of the darn ball.
Second down and 14 yards to go. Lynn Swann to the right side. John Stallworth to the left side. Running back to split. Trying to give it to Franco. Takes the wrinkle up the middle, tries to cut back, can't. He's going to be closed off at the pass, and he is. Way back at the 36, a loss of 2 for Franco. Howard Jackson and Ron Carpenter made the tackle. 3rd and 16.
That's one way you can contain Mr. Franco Harris. I counted 7 Bengal jerseys right around the immediate vicinity as he went down. And as I mentioned earlier, if you get enough guys on this big guy, he will fall down. But it sometimes takes more than 2 or 3.
You know, entering this, the 13th week of the 1975 regular season, 10 NFL teams, 5 in each conference, remain in competition for Super Bowl 10, which will occur on Sunday, January 18th at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Now back again. It's Bradshaw. Guns this one, and it is a sliding catch at the 15 by Swann. Swann with a stabbing catch, a penalty marker on the play. It's at the 15-yard line. 21-yard pickup. Lindsey, if I'm not mistaken, that flag was dropped after the reception was made, which might call for some sort of interference down there.
Lynn Swann, liking to slide into second base, picked up the ball.
It is a penalty indicated against Cincinnati. It'll be stepped off from the 15-yard line, which will put it at the 7.5-yard line, half the distance. Half the distance penalty. We pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, your network for news and sports.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Here in Pittsburgh, it is first down, goal to go for the Steelers. They have the ball at the 7.5-yard line. They're leading by a score of 21-7 and driving here. Running back to split. Franco Harris and Rocky Blount. Rolling right now is Bradshaw. He tries to run it. Bradshaw juking in. Touchdown. Bradshaw for the touchdown. 50 yards and 7 plays from the 7.5-yard line. Big Terry Bradshaw, all 218 pounds of it, tumbled into the end zone for the touchdown.
Terry Bradshaw, and that's what he's been doing a lot this year. He gets those avenues open, he'll tuck that ball under and start running, and he does it very effectively. Now the try for the extra point.
Roy Girella waiting to attempt the point. The ball is put down. He boosts it up, and it's good. So, with the score, Steelers 28 and the Bengals 7. There's a timeout on the field, and now this.
Well, Michel Bergeron scored a 3-goal hat trick to lead the Detroit Red Wings to a 5-3 victory over the Washington Capitals Friday night. Dan Maloney and Mickey Redmond added goals for Detroit. In other NHL action, Atlanta and the New York Islanders skated to a 3-3 tie. California beat St. Louis 5-2. And the game between Philadelphia and the Canucks at Vancouver was postponed because of heavy snow. Over in the WHA, Richie Leduc scored the only goal of the game as the Cleveland Crusaders blanked the Minnesota Fighting Saints 1-0. Elsewhere, Toronto outscored Quebec 6-4. Houston downed Indianapolis 4-2. Winnipeg outskated Calgary 4-2, and it was Cincinnati over Phoenix, also by a 4-2 score. A federal judge in New York has reserved decision in the American Basketball Association's motion to prevent the National Basketball Association from conducting a special draft of 5 players presently under contract of the ABA. The district judge asked lawyers for the ABA Players Association to file another memorandum Wednesday.
Score 28-7. Steelers on top. Roy Girella tees the ball up at his own 35-yard line and is getting to the point now, Lindsey, where it's now or never for Cincinnati.
All of that. Roy Girella waits for the whistle, which to start him forward. There's the kick, and it is carrying deep, taken in the end zone. Linville Elliott will not run it out. He simply kneels in the end zone, so it'll be brought out to the 20-yard line, put in play. First and 10 for the Cincinnati Bengals at their own 20.
See, I thought when they moved the kickoff point back to the 35-yard line, that was supposed to take care of things like that.
Well, it wasn't. All they did was get stronger kickers. They get stronger and stronger and stronger.
28-7 our score, and it's now, as we mentioned, now or never for the Bengals. They've got to get something going.
Ken Anderson brings him up to the line now with a wide receiver to the left side. Going to a high count. Leaves this one on the ground and struggling up there is Boobie Clark. Boobie Clark got up to about the 23 or 4. Stopped by L.C. Greenwood. Just in advance of the 23 colors, 2nd and 7. Incidentally, before Pittsburgh moments ago, when Bradshaw took the ball in for 7.5 yards, it was the first time today that he's carried the ball.
Well, it was only turnabout fair play. Kenny Anderson had been taken on often from long jaunts all day, so it was Terry's turn.
Myers comes to the right side. Isaac Curtis to the left in this Cincinnati set. Motion to the outside by Linville Elliott. Now, he's sacked back at the 11-yard line. Anderson again is sacked. Steve Burnett got to him first. An avalanche of black Pittsburgh jerseys in there on quarterback Ken Anderson, who's getting up ever so slowly. That's the fourth time he's been sacked today. The fourth time. Holding is indicated now against Cincinnati. An additional penalty of holding.
Well, the road to the Superdome grows shorter as we come down to the end of another exciting NFL season. Immediately following this game, Mutual will take you to Dallas where the Redskins meet the Cowboys. And next Saturday afternoon, there's another great doubleheader. Denver at Miami and Pittsburgh takes on Los Angeles. 27th and 28th, Mutual will bring you the first-round playoff doubleheaders. And January 4th, the AFC Championship game. Get it all over most of these Mutual stations.
The holding penalty has been declined because, of course, Pittsburgh Steelers want the play to stand as it was on the long loss. So the holding penalty was declined. That makes it third down as the down counts now. Third and extremely long. 3rd and 17, as a matter of fact. With the ball on the 13-yard line. Coming back is Anderson again. And again he has to evade a right. Stumbles out, carrying the ball to the 20. Gets left to the 25, and Jack Lambert finally brings him down at the 29-yard line, and that brings the punting unit on now. The punting unit is coming on for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, Lindsey, it's true that he didn't get the first down on that play, but it was a very important run for Kenny Anderson because he gets the ball out to about the 28 in pretty good position for a kick by Green, and he'd had to kick on his own end zone. We could have had another quick Pittsburgh score. Now Green has at least the opportunity to kick the ball deeper in the Pittsburgh territory.
Cincinnati has only 94 yards rushing here this afternoon, and Anderson has 68 of them. Deep front formation now. Dave Green. His back hands outstretched, standing along his own 15. Boots this one up. And it is taken at the 20-yard line. Glenn Edwards returning to the 25-30, and it stops short of the 35. A 50-yard punt. Edwards returning. It's going to be marked at the 34, and they'll start first and 10 at the 34-yard line.
By far, Dave Green's best punt of the day, and he's needed it that time because now Pittsburgh will take over deep in their own territory. So again, we allude back to the fact that Kenny Anderson got to clear out to the 28 on that scamper up the middle that set up the long 50-yard boot by Green, and at least Cincinnati is not in a hole when they start on defense this time.
Wide receivers left and right for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Running backs in an I formation. Bradshaw giving it off to Rocky Blount on the tail of the tandem, across the 35-40 and on down to the 42-yard line. Tom Casanova came in to make the tackle. Dwyer moving it up to the 42.
You get to concentrating on Franco, and Dwyer can do that to you. Everybody gets so used to seeing Franco running wide and up the middle and shrugging off tacklers. Sometimes you almost forget the man that usually blocks, and that's Rocky Dwyer.
Left and right now, wide receivers. Pittsburgh's victory today would give them their first sweep ever against AFC teams in the Central Division. Dwyer again. Cross tackle right. To the 45. Jim LeClaire and Ron Pritchard made the tackle, but he may have picked up the first down. As soon as they get it started, we'll find out. It is first and 10. First down and 10 yards to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All this fun is down the 45-yard line.
Rocky Dwyer ran that time like a man with a mission, and he accomplished it. He picked up the first and 10, so Cincinnati started, Pittsburgh got deep in their own territory, but they're giving it up again.
Pittsburgh Steelers after their 11th consecutive victory here this afternoon. Split the running back. Spin wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw drops back. Guns this one, and it's incomplete. He's trying to get Stallworth on the slant end. Then he had the back Rocky Bryant trading, but that one's deflected. Second and 10 at the 45-yard line.
Again, putting the game in perspective, even if the Bengals and Steelers did end up with identical records, which doesn't look too likely right now, Pitt would be the one to win the divisional title. The Bengals have lost to Cleveland and Houston, while Pitt has lost only to Buffalo, and they have no losses in their own division, as Lindsey mentioned.
Victory here this afternoon, of course, would give the title in the Central Division to these Pittsburgh Steelers and a home field advantage in the playoff game. Second down and 10 at the 45. Swann has caught 5 passes for 68 yards today for the Steelers. Now Bradshaw rolls right. He's going to keep the football. And he got it to the 48 and was stopped right there. Sherman White doesn't make the tackle. However, has a penalty marker on the play. Ball is floated and spotted up the 48-yard line. Penalty is against the Cincinnati Bengals. penalties for 38 yards today. They got a first down. First and 10. Pittsburgh's ball up to Cincinnati, 47. 1 minute, 27 seconds remaining to be played in the third quarter. Bradshaw is back. Rolls and sets. Decides to run it. Gets to the 40 and gets to the 39-yard line. Bernard Jackson again coming in on the tackle. Terry Bradshaw running the football. Taking a leaf out of Kenny Anderson's book. He starts running up the middle and did it well to pick up some big territory. Reminder once again, we will join Al Lester in Texas with the Washington-Dallas game right after this game. And that is a biggie. As we mentioned, you can call some games a must game, and it's getting that time of the year. The one in Dallas is a must. The loser can go home. Second down and a yard to go. Pittsburgh's ball in Cincinnati territory. Bradshaw rolling right. Setting now, looks for Swann. Swann long, down to the end zone. Swann, incomplete. He was being covered all the way by Marvin Cobb. Marvin Cobb stride for stride with Swann right down to the corner of the end zone. And a beautiful play by Cobb. He stuck with him. Swann can move, as you know, but Cobb stuck with him. Last motor, jumps up, flicks the ball away, incomplete. That's Swann coming back, and the reason he's getting a hand is that they had to dig him out of the band. There's a band beyond the end line, and he was up very close to a trumpet player, I think, and so they finally dug him out. I don't even think he has the union card. You can't go up there. Third down and a yard to go down. Ball resting on the 38-yard line. Pittsburgh very businesslike about this game. They just go about doing it to you. They're in a wing right with a running back split. Bradshaw gives it off to Franco Harris. Sweeps left, cuts back off tackle, and literally pulls his way to the 35 for a first down. First and 10, Sherman White and Tom Casanova finally wrestled him to the artificial turf. Jim LeClaire, the middle linebacker for the Bengals, had Franco right in his arms. I mean, both arms wrapped around him, and he ran right away from him. Just broke it and moved on down the field, and Jim was standing there shaking his head like, where'd he go? Steelers now have 15 first downs. The Cincinnati Bengals have 9 for the afternoon. The clock says we have 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and 1 second, and that's the end of the quarter. There's the gun. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Steelers 28, Bengals 7.
Former Philadelphia 76er forward Alan Bristow fired a $1,700,000 damage suit, claiming the NBA club could not cut him for lack of skill. Bristow claims in the suit his 3-year no-cut contract, which expires next year, guaranteed him a position. He asked the U.S. District Court in Philadelphia to prevent the Sixers from filling his spot on the roster. Bristow was dropped last October and is now playing with the ABA San Antonio Spurs. In Bedford, Indiana, Lawrence Circuit Court Judge H. Wayne Baker said on Friday it may be next week before he rules on the suit by Indiana University coach Bobby Knight against the NCAA 10-man basketball traveling squad limit. Knight testified Friday in a hearing that was expected to last most of the day. The rule has a disastrous effect on team unity, Knight said. Each time I see boys who can't make the trip, there's just no way I can guard their future and their lost ability. It also has an impact when the other members see empty seats.
28-7 here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers lead the Bengals. We start the final quarter of action. The ball resting on the 35-yard line of Cincinnati. Pittsburgh on the drive. They've held the ball for some time now on a long drive down the field. First yards or third period statistics, I should say. Up to this point, first down, Pitt has 15, Cincinnati 9. Yards rushing, 138 for Pittsburgh, 94 for Cincinnati. Big difference in passing goals for Cincinnati. The Steelers have 62 yards through the air, 135 for Cincinnati, but they only have the 7 points on the board. Total yardage, Cincinnati still out in front. 200 for Pittsburgh, 225 for the Bengals. Passing, Mr. Bradshaw has thrown 16 times, completed 9 of them. Kenny Anderson throwing the ball a lot again today. 14 times he has been complete out of 23 passes. Both quarterbacks have been intercepted 1 time. Cincinnati lost the 1 fumble, the only fumble of the day. That resulted in the spectacular touchdown. And yards penalized fairly close. Pitt 24, Cincinnati 38 at this point. We're ready for the 4th and final period of action with Lindsey Nelson.
All right, tail contest. Here we go. The ball's at the 35-yard line. It's first and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Out of the huddle up to the line. Stallworth to the left side. Lynn Swann to the right side. Running back to split. That's Rocky Barr and Franco Harris. Bradshaw is waiting for the ball. He's got it. Gives it off to Franco Harris. Off left guard. That's out to 30. And Franco dials on down to the 25-yard line. Al Beauchamp brought him down. He did a little juke with a cross guard and then turned it on. Went into overdrive. Going to be spotted now on the 25-yard line. Just inches short of the first down. Inches short of the first down. And this is the second down play coming. Franco Harris and Rocky Barr split themselves out. It's Terry Bradshaw, the quarterback. Sends wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw now set. Motion back to the inside by Swann. Give it again to Franco Harris. First down, he's still going to the 20. Drags a couple of tackles all the way to the 17-yard line. Franco Harris, first and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The ball is the 17-yard line.
Franco has now picked up 90 yards in 15 attempts today. He's averaging 6 yards to carry. He has 1 touchdown on the day. And he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes on. At least he seems to be ripping through more would-be tacklers' arms as he moves down the field.
First and 10 now for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the 17-yard line. The running backs are split. Wide receivers left and right. The Steelers are leading 28-7 in driving. Bradshaw trying to make sure that his signal is heard. Gives it across to Franco Harris. He cuts off tackle left. Breaks the tackle at the 15. Goes on to the 10. And finally ridden out of bounds just inside the 10-yard line. Franco Harris stopped by Jim Leclerc. A big afternoon for Franco Harris here. He's gone over 100 yards. It'll be first and goal. Beg your pardon, it'll be second. About 2. 109 yards and 17 carries for Franco Harris. 109 yards and 17 carries for Harris.
And Lindsey, once again, you could just count the tacklers he ran through on his way down the field, moving it inside the 9.
Well, it's second and 3 now. That's the 9-yard line. The running backs are split. Bradshaw giving again Franco Harris. Here he goes to the 5, still driving. Down to the 2-yard line. First down and goal to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Franco Harris carrying the football. Ron Pritchett in there on the tackle.
Franco has now gone over the 100-yard mark for the 17th time in his career, which is the 9th most 100-yard games of all time.
Franco came into this game knowing that if he could get 140 yards in these last 2 games, he would break John Henry Johnson's 12 record of 1,141. Already he has broken John Henry Johnson's record for touchdowns scored by an individual Steeler. They split the running back, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer. This time rolling left is Bradshaw, guns it to the corner, incomplete. It was intended there. It'll be second down and goal to go through, intended for Randy Grossman, the far side. They're in a wing right. Now here's Franco Harris driving a touchdown. Franco Harris moved across his own left guard. They moved 65 yards in 13 plays. And Franco has scored yet another touchdown. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are leading 34-7 with a conversion attempt coming. And this crowd of some 50,000 here at Three River Stadium is jubilant as they are defending world champion Steelers. Piling it up here now in the fourth quarter. Walden will hold for Jarrella, leader of Jarrella's Raiders. Walden had out, puts the ball down, it booted up. And it's good. So there's a timeout with the score. Steelers 35, Bengals 7. Now this word.
You know, most people think that Coach Paul Brown calls all the plays for Cincinnati. That's not exactly true. Assistant coaches Bill Walsh and Jack Donaldson up in the press box, and Bill Johnson and Coach Brown down on the field consult on those plays, almost all of them. The messenger guard brings in the play number, and Kenny Anderson, the Cincinnati
feed the ball up to 35. Denari Jackson has dropped back with Linville Elliott along the goal line. Sideline to Boosted. Going to go through the wedge. Fumbled by Jackson at the 10. He kicks it up to the 20. He gets across the 25 to the 30, and it's pulled down at the 30-yard line.
He almost broke that, Lindsey. He got around one man. There was one man between he and the goal post.
That one man was Jim Allen. And you're exactly right. Had he been able to get by him, he would have gone all the way. First and 10. And now the ball is going to be moved back to the 15 at point of an infraction. The penalty marked off. Clipping. A clipping penalty will move the ball back now to the 7-yard line. Since it occurred on the run back, they will start first and 10 at the 7.
Fine run back nullified, and now the Bengals trailing by a whole bunch. Got to start inside their own 10-yard line.
Ken Anderson brings them up. Wide receivers left and right. Here's a quick pitch to the outside, taken by Boobie Clark. Tries to turn the corner, and Chad, he got up to the 10. Picked up about 3, but could not turn that corner. They get second and 7 at the 10. L.C. Greenwood made the tackle, along with Jack Lambert.
Down 35-7. The Bengals now must try to figure out a way to put some points on the board and quick. They're down to 11 minutes and 35 seconds and counting. Time running out on them.
While a Pittsburgh victory will give them the AFC Central Division Championship, a loss by Cincinnati will not eliminate them. Each team has a game to play next week. Pittsburgh against Los Angeles and Cincinnati be playing San Diego. There's a pass incomplete. Wobbled up there. Intended for Chip Myers. Myers has caught 4 for 72 yards today. Lambert, linebacker for the Steelers, got his hands on that ball, or at least touched it, but couldn't hold on to it. He was standing there looking like he thought he should have hung on to it. Coming in for the next play is John Shinner. Third down. 11 minutes, 17 seconds left to play in the game. Anderson brings him up in a slot left. Anderson has the ball dropping back to his 1-yard line. Goes over the middle, and it is Chip Myers there, gathering it in and moving across the 30 and all the way up to the 34-yard line. Glenn Edwards on the tackle. So they'll start first and 10 now at the 34-yard line. If you're a Bengals fan and you're still facing up and down, hoping this thing is going to pull out somehow for you, 24-yard pass play there moves the Bengals deep out of their own territory. But again, we mentioned that they have got to strike and strike fast to have any hope. Steelers are leading by a score of 35-7. High formation, slot back to the right side. Anderson sets up, moves up in the pocket, guns this one. He was waiting and hoping that Chip Myers could clear, but he didn't. He gunned it, and he was hit and hit hard. Anderson was just as he turned the ball loose. Still in a sitting position, gets up slowly. Incompleted pass makes it second and 10 at the 34-yard line.
And on that particular play, Mr. Thomas almost had, or Wagner, I should say, almost had his second interception of the day. Had his hands as he dove through the air, had his hands on the ball, jarred it loose when he came down.
Cincinnati, trying to play catch-up, has been able to garner only 1 first down in the second half. That is a tough Steeler defense. Second down and 10 yards to go. Now they try the draw play. And Boobie Clark takes it up there inside the 4. I beg your pardon, Big Ed Williams takes it up there to the 40-yard line. Now as you were, it's Boobie Clark. Both of them big fullbacks, I'll tell you that. Both go up around 240, 245 pounds, and that's a lot of person to try and bring down. Third down 4 yards, or rather, third down 4 on the 40. Anderson has him in a slot left. Contact made before the snap. Penalty marker is thrown. Anderson drops back and he's pulled down. There is a penalty marker to check out.
Lindsey, Kenny Anderson has been throwing the ball at about a 60% completion ratio this year. But you know, last year over the entire season, he almost had a 65% completion ratio. He has been a very, very effective passer for the Bengals.
There's a 5-yard penalty for all sides against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That will will be enough for the first down. We'll make it a 1st and 10. Bengals ball at their own 45-yard line. Isaac Curtis coming to the left side now. Running backs are split. Ken Anderson waiting. Motion to the outside by Boobie Clark. Now they try the draw play. And it is Lindsey Elliott across the 50-45, and Elliott gets all the way up to the 41-yard line. Mel Blount made the tackle at the 41. It's the 1st and 10 for the Bengals. At the Steelers, 41, a 15-yard pickup on the draw play. Lindsey had my eyes on the Pittsburgh defensive line that time. They were all coming with straight-on hard charges, and they were successful because right away Lindsey got by him. He shot right by him. By the time they could react, he was 5-10 yards down the field. That ensures the success of a draw play. The man who makes the tackle on the draw play is the fellow who's loafing and doesn't charge. 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. 5 receivers left and right. Motion to the outside. That's Boobie Clark. Anderson dropping back now. Guns it, and it's incomplete. He was trying to get it to Lindsey Elliott. The ball was delivered in there, but Lindsey had about 3 guys right around him. A very tough chance for Lindsey, and he couldn't hang on to the old pitch. In the American Football Conference, the Oakland Raiders, of course, already have clinched the title in the Western Division. Miami and Baltimore are battling in the Eastern Division. And in the Central, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals, and a victory here today will give the Central Division crown to the Pitt Steelers. Big one coming up tomorrow, Colts and Miami. Goodness. That's a confrontation. Dropping straight back now at Anderson. And he throws complete. Taken by Joyner. Charlie Joyner down to the 25-yard line. He was running a circle pattern, and Jack Lambert finally brought him down. It's going to be 1st and 10, Cincinnati at the Pittsburgh 25. Again, a beautiful pattern run, and that ball delivered right on the money by Kenny Anderson. This kid is some kind of quarterback, and he gets better at things with these types of years. But you know, they say around here that first game wasn't as close as it looked when Cincinnati hosted these Steelers down in Cincinnati. 1st and 10. They come out with a wide receiver to the right side, and the running back just split. Ken Anderson waiting for the snap now. Starts motion to the outside by Boobie Clark coming left. Try the draw play again, and once again, Lindsey Elliott carries. This time, closed off once again with most of foot by Jack Lambert. So it works once, but it doesn't work twice. Lambert looping around the defensive tackle and filled the hole. Just stood right there and waited for it. Anderson has thrown 27 passes today, completed 16 for 217 yards. That's an awful impressive statistic for trailing 35-7. It is that. 2nd and 10 now at the 25-yard line. Steelers are leading 35-7. Bengals have the ball. Anderson's gone to an automatic. Now he drops back. Brings it out right, and it's taken out to Boobie Clark. 25-20. Boobie Clark goes on to the 17-yard line. Ernie Holmes and Jack Ham converging. Lindsey downfield, walking back up is Isaac Curtis, and he was awful close to being open down in the end zone. Spots that ball now at the, outside the 16. It's going to be 3rd down and a yard to go. We were talking about how crucial these games are getting now, and we'll remind you once again that we will be going from here in Pittsburgh directly down to Texas to listen to the Washington-Dallas game, Al Western. Bruce Carford is in for Charlie Joyner. They'll run a double tight end alignment and try to pick up the yardage. And hand it off and taken by Boobie Clark in for the first down at the 10-yard line. Then Edwards made the stop. Boobie Clark picked up the first down. The Cincinnati Bengals keep their drive alive. The regular Monday night NFL season winds up on Mutual next Monday as Lindsey Nelson and Al Wester bring you the New York Jets San Diego game. Next Saturday afternoon, doubleheader, Denver at Miami, Pittsburgh at Washington. Down and goal to go for the Cincinnati Bengals. Wide receivers left and right. Joyner's back in the ball game. Anderson comes back now, sets, and throws to the corner to Curtis, incomplete. Trying to get Curtis to turn and head for the flag. J.T. Thomas covering defensively. 2nd and goal at the 10-yard line. Thomas was all over Mr. Isaac Curtis that time, and there's been some kind of catch if Isaac can manage to haul it down. Right now, as they huddle, let's pause for station identification. This is Mutual, your news and sports radio network.
This is the American Forces Radio.
the mutual crew in Pittsburgh. Second down and goal to go at the 10-yard line. Wide receivers left and right. Anderson drops back, takes a look at his swing, man. Incomplete. He was going to swing it out there to Lindsey Elliott, who had retreated about 7 yards back. Dwight White was making it imperative that he unload the football to somebody or eat it. Third and goal at the 10-yard line.
And, of course, the Steeler fans were thinking intentional grounding, but it was supposed to be a receiver out there, even if he didn't quite make it. The most important thing about all this is although the Bengals have been driving, they've been using up a lot of time doing it. The clock is ticked down now. There's 6 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the ball game.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers are leading by a score of 35-7. Isaac Curtis goes far to the right side. Lindsey Elliott goes far to the left side. Only one setback. Anderson starts motion by Curtis back to the inside. Rolls to the right now. Can't find anybody. Throws it in. It is taken just at the flag by Bob Trumpy. Big Bob Trumpy, the tight end, who is sitting on the seat of his trousers on the far side now, well across the sideline marker. But it's going to be marked at the 1-yard line where it'll be 4th and goal.
I honestly thought Kenny really was going to run the ball. I think he thought he was, but he looked up, saw a would-be tackler coming in on him, looked downfield, and there was Trumpy, and he got it to him.
Carsford is in for Joyner. Here comes big Stan Fritz into the ball game as well. Coming out is Lindsey Elliott. Stan Fritz in for Elliott. It is 4th down. It is goal to go at the 1-yard line. So they've got all the beef and power they can muster in there now. Fritz has carried one time for 1 yard and a touchdown, you'll recall. He's the man who likes to dive the ball up there. Anderson waiting. Hands it off and no, throws to the corner to Isaac Curtis. Wide open touchdown. Fakes the hand off to Boobie Clark. Turned and simply ran it. Rather tossed it out to Isaac Curtis, who is deep in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
Curtis beat Thomas on that play. Thomas was thinking run. Curtis hit him and then just kind of wandered on out into the end zone out on the right side. He was wide open.
So it's 35-13, a conversion attempt coming, and Dave Green is in to attempt that. They drove 92 yards in 15 plays, did the Bengals. Snap is down, Green boots it up, and it's good. So with the score, Steelers 35, the Bengals 14. There's a timeout on the field, and now this.
University of Kentucky running back Sonny Collins, flanked by 3 attorneys, denied any involvement in either the murder of a Lexington man or alleged point-shaving incidents in football games. These statements coming Friday. Collins, citing the results of a lie detector test he took on December 4th in Chicago, also denied he had ever sold or taken any hard drugs while at the Southeastern Conference school. However, the senior halfback would not comment on a published report that he may have violated NCAA rules by taking a trip to Las Vegas in 1973 or that he has left school. In a brief statement, the Southeastern Conference's all-time rushing leader said, "I hope all these problems are now over as the result of this information. It has been a sad time for me." The University of Kentucky has been conducting an internal investigation of possible violations for the past 3 weeks, but Collins and the school did not make any comment on the progress of that investigation.
Well, we're back in Pittsburgh. 35-14, Steelers lead the Bengals. Cincinnati has just gone into the score, trailing by 21 points, and they got 6 minutes and 3 seconds to try and score 3 touchdowns. And first off, they got to get the ball. Here's Lindsey to tell you how they're going to try and go about it.
Dave Green booting it from the 35-yard line. Mike Collier is waiting for it. Collier. He takes it at the 8-yard line, runs right to the 10, to the 15-20, up the right sideline, and is pulled out of bounds. Pulled out by Lyle Blackwood. So now the Pitt Steelers start first and 10 at their own 24-yard line. Starting this weekend, as we mentioned, there were 10 NFL teams still eligible for the playoff berth, 5 in each of the conferences. The AFC contenders, the defending Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati. Western Division winner Oakland, Miami and Baltimore from the Eastern Division. From the NFC, Central Division winner Minnesota, Western Division winner Los Angeles, Eastern Division contenders St. Louis, Dallas, and Washington. One of those will be eliminated this afternoon in a game you'll hear right here on Mutual. Franco Harris got the close handoff. There's a penalty marker thrown into the stack. He got it just up to the 25, but a penalty marker came sailing across. Ben Cameron is in there, by the way, at middle linebacker now for Cincinnati. Penalty is against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Of course, Lindsey, the Steelers have but one thing on their mind now, and that's using up some time. The Bengals have to get their hands on the football. We're down under 6 minutes to play now, 5:49 to be exact. And the time is running out.
Holding penalty against the Steelers, puts the ball back at the 14-yard line. Makes it first down and 20 yards to go. Steelers are leading 35-14, 5 minutes, 49 seconds left to play on the game. Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Franco Harris, a big hole opens up for him up the middle. He carries it out to the 16-yard line for 2. It'll be second down and 18 yards to go. Glenn Cameron, the middle linebacker, coming up to make the stop. Three Rivers Stadium. It's called Three Rivers because this is at the confluence of the Monongahela and the Allegheny Rivers where they form the Ohio. And the water must be warming up a little because the sun has been shining all afternoon in Pittsburgh. And besides that, it's the only opportunity we ever have to use the word confluence. It's second and 18 at the 16-yard line. Bradshaw loosens up Franco Harris at stride right. Rocky Barr the other back. Bradshaw now. Gunning it short, considerably short. Trying to get the Stallworth out about the 30-yard line. But didn't get it to him. That's going to be third and 18 at the 16-yard line. The Bengals, of course, they want the football.
The road to the Superdome grows shorter as we come down to the end of another exciting NFL season. Immediately following this game, Mutual will take you to Dallas, where the Redskins meet the Cowboys. Next Saturday afternoon, there's another great doubleheader. Denver at Miami, Pittsburgh at Los Angeles. 27th and 28th, Mutual will bring you the first-round playoff doubleheaders. And January 4th, the AFC Championship game right here on Mutual.
Frank Harris came off the field and he got an ovation from the Pitt fans. Franco Harris out of the ball game at the moment. Third and 18. Bradshaw dropping back. Takes a look. Goes this one to Stallworth. Makes a diving catch up at the 38-yard line. First and 10. Beautiful pass thrown by Bradshaw to Stallworth.
I don't guess we like to wade through that last one because he tried the whole thing over again, only this time it worked.
Brought it up to 37-yard line.
One of the other receivers for Pittsburgh, Swann, has had 5 catches today for 69 yards, averaging about 14 yards a catch and a touchdown. And more important than that, there have been some crucial catches there.
Reggie Harrison's in that backfield now. Reggie Harrison. First and 10 up to 37. Given off to the tailback. Cinci Fuqua, who got it up to the 40-yard line. Cinci Fuqua, the tailback. Morgan State.
Terry Bradshaw attempted 19 passes today so far, completed 10 for 105 yards and 1 touchdown. And besides that, he's done some scrambling on his own to help the offense move along.
Here they come now. Up to the line once again. Reggie Garrett is the wide receiver to the right side. Mike Collier is the running back left. Collier gets the football. They open up a hole for him, and he drives across the 45-yard line. Mike Collier. Collier and Cinci Fuqua are the running backs in the ball game just now.
Slightly different wrinkle by Bradshaw and the Steelers that time. He spun around, handed the ball back on the inside of him, and it worked. Collier, he moves up the middle and gets over the 46-yard line, so it'll be third about 2.
Third and 2. Ball is just across the 45-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers in their possession. 3 minutes, 18 seconds remaining to be played in the game. Steelers 35 and the Bengals 14. Wing right with running backs in an I formation. Contact made before the stop. Penalties everywhere.
I saw about 4 or 5 flags on that thing. I wonder if some one of the players didn't throw one.
The right side, running back to the right. Bradshaw dropping back. Goes to Stallworth at the 22. He's got it pulled down. Stallworth second. Was pulled down immediately, but they moved downfield. A 13-yard pickup. Bradshaw to Stallworth. Ball is spotted outside the 22-yard line.
In a situation like this team has reduced a very fundamental thing. The Steelers don't want to give up the ball, and the Bengals want it. We're down to 2:32 and counting.
Stallworth has caught 3 passes for 58 yards here this afternoon. We're approaching the automatic timeout. It comes in 2 minutes. Running back to split. Wide receivers left and right. Bradshaw takes a look around. Now bends in to get set and get the snap. He's got it. He's giving it to Vinci Fuqua. Fuqua into the 21-yard line again. A yard at most, make it second down and 9. At the 21, Bill Kohler came in to make the tackle. Clock is running still now with 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
We were talking about the Mutual Black College All-American team. James Hunter of Grambling was named the outstanding defensive player. Grambling's Eddie Robinson was the overwhelming choice. With the score, 35-14 Steelers on top of the Bengals. There's the sign out on the field now.
Western Kentucky takes a second shot at the NCAA Division II football championship against offensive powerhouse Northern Michigan in the Community Bowl today. The Hilltoppers, who lost 34-0 to Louisiana Tech 2 years ago at Sacramento, California, have been made a touchdown favorite over the Wildcats. Led by sophomore quarterback Steve Mariucci, Northern Michigan averaged almost 342 yards a game this season. Western Kentucky gave up an average of only 59 yards a game and is built around the 6'2", 210-pound linebacker Rick Green, who led the squad with 122 tackles and 73 assists. Craig Fertig, an assistant coach at the University of Southern California for 12 seasons, is the new head football coach at Oregon State. DeAndros, the outgoing coach and new athletic director, made the announcement. The 33-year-old Fertig agreed to a 3-year contract at $26,000 a year. The former Southern Cal star returns to Oregon, where in 1974 he was an assistant coach.
Back at Three River Stadium, 35-14 Steelers on top. 2 minutes left in this ball game. The Steelers have the ball.
They have it second and 9 now at the Cincinnati 21, just outside the 21. They're running a slot left, running back to Switz. Bradshaw has the ball now, handing it off. Mike Collier with a sweep right, set back off tackle inside the 15 and all the way down to the 11-yard line. Mike Collier.
And again, keep in mind, just about 18 minutes from now, another big pro football game this afternoon. That one between the Dallas Cowboys and Washington Redskins for, as it looks like at the moment, the wild card spot in the NFC. The loser definitely will be out of the playoffs, and with less than 2 minutes to go in this one, the Pittsburgh Steelers driving for yet another touchdown, already leading by a score of 35-14 as we go back and join Lindsey Nelson.
They brought the chain out and measured, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have picked up their 22nd first down. It's first and 10 at the 12-yard line. First and 10 Pittsburgh at the Cincinnati 12. Chief Fuqua is back in there now, and Mike Collier has gone out. Dropping straight back is Bradshaw. Wanted to throw to Starworth, instead got it up the middle. He intended for Randy Grossman, incomplete. It'll be second and 10 at the 12-yard line. The incompletion stops the clock with 1 minute 31 seconds remaining to be played in this game. Keep in mind that a Pittsburgh victory and their leading 35-14 gives them the championship in the Central Division of the AFC. Also gives them a decided advantage playing on their home field in the playoff game. Fuqua and Mike Collier now the running back. Collier comes back in. Lindsey Fuqua and Mike Collier. Second and 10 at the Cincinnati 12-yard line. Here's a draw play taken by Fuqua, and he popped as he got to the 11. Gain of a yard, make it third and 9.
Lindsey Fuqua has been a very important man to this Pittsburgh team this year. Rocky Flyer was injured, out of the lineup. It was Fuqua who came into the starting lineup and filled the gap, adding a lot of offense to that backfield along with Franco here.
The hand is from Merrill Blount. On the message board it says Merrill Blount, 1975 Steeler, most valuable player. He has been intercepting passes like mad all year long.
11 of them so far, closing in on the all-time record.
Third down play now. Ball is at the 11-yard line. Bradshaw takes a look around. Now he's got Collier as a tailback in the eye. Behind Vinci Fuqua. They're a little mixed up, and now a whistle. And it's going to be a delay penalty here. A delay of game will cost them 5 yards. The field judge is the man who keeps the time on his watch. After it's spotted for play, you got 30 seconds to switch to snap it.
Not a penalty, I don't think the Pittsburgh minded all that much. They're down to 46 seconds now. They got the ball. The score is 35-14, well out in front. And they're looking pretty good shape right now. Wind down, let the time tick away. That's basically what they're in.
They're taking a timeout now so that Bradshaw can go over and have a word with his coach. There's a timeout with the score. Steelers 35, Bengals 14, and now this word.
Well, as for game 2 on Mutual today, the Redskins and Cowboys will be banging heads from Dallas. And you can justify this game being called a must game. The winner will be assured of a playoff spot and a shot at the and here's Lynn.
Bradshaw throwing a swing pass out to Collier on the left side. He gets across the 10-yard line. And it's going to be marked somewhere in the vicinity of the 10 in just a moment. The officials say keep that clock running. It's going down to the 30. Ball is being spotted now at the 8-yard line. It is at the 8-yard line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fourth down play coming. 17 seconds, 16 seconds, 15. Steelers stay back in the huddle. They've got the ball fourth down and 6 to go at the 8-yard line. Clock is running 8 seconds, 7 seconds. They're not coming out of the huddle at all. They're going to stay right there. Clock is down to 2-1, and that's all. Both benches empty, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have won the ball game by a final score of 35-14.